Well, exactly. I mean, I wonder how much more you've got left to give, to be honest.
We'll see. Hey guys, welcome to another Chess Patzers Unite stream. This one, as I've advertised previously, we're joined by I am Adam Hunt. I've actually got a name badge for him this time, so you don't have to ask which one of us is the international master. Today we're going to be looking at the Olympiad as promised. We're going to start with France versus England because, well, I'm half French and half English actually, Adam. So this is a bit of a tough one for me. And then we're going to work our way, probably on viewers' request, about what games you want us to look at. Otherwise, we'll just go top games and work our way down. Adam's all set up and ready to go. His webcam's working, which is good. He's multitasking today. I believe he's keeping an eye on the Ryder Cup at the same time. So if he zones out, it's probably because it's a tense moment. And Adam, if you could tell us what that is, because I'm sure there's other people that'd be interested.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure we all know about the Ryder Cup. But yes, if I do zone out, it's just because I'm just watching the golf, basically. Europe are doing all right, which is
I mean, that's key for me too. I'm not a big golf fan.
Chess. Do you like my chess artwork in the background, by the way?
I didn't see that actually. Oh, lovely. How often does a pawn knock out a king, though? I mean, realistically, how often does that happen?
Yeah, in the end game, maybe you can have it a few times.
Well, mate by a pawn is brilliant.
Tell me about your story then. So you are half French, half English. You sound much more English than French, though.
Yeah, that would be because I spent literally my whole life here. But the long story short about it is my dad's French and my mum's English. And he came over. Stereotypically, he's a chef. You know, it's like, you know, what profession are you if you're French? Well, you're number one, you'd probably go for the cuisine side of things.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he came over.
And he's probably an amazing chef as
Actually,
well.
He's all right. He gets annoyed with people on MasterChef, believe it or not, which I find hilarious. I'm just like, just go on MasterChef, you know, just go and win it. That'd be cool. But yes, so I spent my whole life school, everything here, hence the accent. My French is okay, but only through school, funny enough, because the other downside of having a dad that's a chef is the hours that he used to be home when I was a kid weren't when I was awake. So there was no real to and fro. I think it would have been different had it been my mum. She would have definitely talked to me from birth. But there you go. I mean, she still talks now. I can't show her up, to be honest. Typical mother, to be fair.
Maybe that's where you get your natural flair for streaming from.
It could be. I mean, I do wonder sometimes. I'm like, some of the crap I come out with. But there are others with bigger mouths. So I see myself as sort of in the middle. But yeah, I fully support France in sport, etc. So
interesting. So France, England, you support France?
No, I support both, and it's really awkward.
Well, that's not going to work, is it? If you play, let's say it's the Six Nations, or
no, it is every year. It's the Six Nations.
Well, what is going to happen? Let's say we did actually get to that World Cup final. What would you have done?
I would have just supported the team that won. That way, I get to be world champion, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the best of both worlds, really, isn't it?
That would have been the best. And I actually thought it was going to happen at one point. You know, we did score first, England, so I was a bit. Maybe we scored too early. You know, that sort of feeling. I'm sure I wasn't the only English fan in the world to think, there's still another 90 minutes to go, or 80 minutes to go.
So you're a football fan?
Yeah, football, rugby, tennis. As I say, I even watch golf if the interest level is high enough, and the Ryder Cup is high enough for me because it's the top level.
Yeah. Any particular team? Sounds like it's a London-based team, I would guess.
I believe it or not, no, I'm a Liverpool fan.
I'm a Liverpool fan.
Oh, awesome. Good stuff. So we're both Scousers without the accent, yeah?
Exactly, yeah.
We'll just have to calm down. But yeah, no, we're doing really well. And even that draw against Chelsea yesterday, that was well worth it. I think that's a great result.
It was good considering that it looked like we were going to lose.
Yeah, 89th minute goal. I mean, Sturridge. I mean, is he going to come back? It's a tough one, isn't it? You just don't know what's going to go on.
Hard to know. I think he may get a run in the team the way that Salah was playing.
Yeah, well, I mean, Salah's under so much pressure. I mean, come on, 43 goals. Was it 43? Was it more? I can't even remember now.
It was just slightly, yeah. I don't know if you saw the stream when I was commentating with Simon on the British, but I was in the Maldives when I was commentating on that.
Yeah, I know.
And Mo Salah had just spent the previous week on the island about 1 kilometre away from where I was.
You missed a chance to bump into him.
Exactly, yeah, it's really disappointing.
But yeah, he's just got the pressure of following a season like that. I mean, they're saying he's not playing well. I think he's playing all right. It's just
He's playing okay. He's just not. He's running past people. He's just not putting the ball in the goal. So
just keep giving chances. You know, every footballer has these moments of brilliance and then not so brilliant. So no, and as long as other players for us step up, then it's not a big problem. But I could talk about Liverpool forever, to be honest, Adam. Should we talk a little bit about the chess, and then we can always...
No, let's carry on talk about Liverpool forever.
I should rename the stream to Liverpool fans. Still.
Yeah, let's talk about the chess. Come on, let's try.
All right, I found the France versus England game, and
France versus England. That's where we're starting, and that's obviously a good place to start with what we've,
Yeah, exactly right.
This was all planned.
So I want a 2-2 draw, to be honest, Adam. But we'll see how it goes. Again, I think are France ahead? Are they on the same score? I don't even know how the scores are going at the moment between these two.
So let's just have a quick
what
look just to confirm. So basically, there's 4 teams in the lead who have all won all their games. So that's Azerbaijan, Poland, Czech Republic, and Ukraine. They're all playing.
So they're all on ball 1 and 2, right?
They're all on ball 1 and 2. So we'll come to those games later. England got absolutely crushed by Azerbaijan.
Yeah, I saw that, sadly. Yeah, I'm glad we weren't commentating that day.
Yeah, I mean, actually, at one stage, David Howell, who was playing Nidic on board, I think it was board 3, or actually even at the end, had a really clever way to be a lot better. But he did it. He's been an absolute star for England this tournament so far. But he had a way to have a clear advantage, but he had no time as well. So he took the draw, and yeah, Adam's lost. Well, they all
Adam got crushed. Actually, I found that hard to watch. To be honest,
it's hard to watch, but Mamajavov,
he's quality, right?
Yeah, I mean he's probably playing the best chess in the world right now.
I think a lot of people are disappointed he's not the challenger.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's. Well, I say that, but then Caruana is already playing amazingly in this tournament as well. So.
Agree. You can't. It's a shame Carlsen can't play him like in a simultaneous. Yeah,
well, it's in some ways it's a little bit of a shame that it's not the way it used to be. Where not a shame it's not the way it used to be, but those days when there was a kind of
match play.
Like a big tournament to decide the world champion.
Oh, right, really far back then. Wow, is that 1946 or something crazy?
Yeah. And that was obviously because of the war, but it would be interesting to see.
To be honest, Adam, I missed the match plays. I really like them. I really like the old...
Like the FIDE style knockout, do you mean?
Not the knockout so much. I find that a different level of entertainment. I do enjoy the World Cup knockout, actually. But
so you mean like the candidates? You mean like the kind of interzonal, then you have your semi-finals, your quarter-finals.
Exactly. But proper length, you have proper... I can't remember, was it 8-game matches or something like that? I really felt they were like a mini world championship before the actual world championship.
I agree. So obviously I'm thinking back to the days of sort of early 90s where Short managed to get past a few guys, and Spielman was doing well.
Short beat Karpov. I mean, that was massive.
Yeah.
Do you know what? We're gonna actually get to this game.
let's get to the chess. Let's do it. But it's interesting to talk about, right? I mean, it's not just
I mean, probably one of the most fun thing about chess is probably not the playing side. It's probably just the talking about it around it. I mean, I've got to say, for me, like after the match finished, like a league match, just a general league match in the London League, is going down the pub afterwards with my team and just having a chat about the games. Sit there with a board in front of us, 6 of us around it, just going, oh yeah, this is interesting, blah blah blah. I love it, absolutely love it.
Yeah.
All the tension from the I might actually lose for the teams disappeared. I'm more worried about losing than winning, I think.
Yeah, completely. And that's that shows somebody who's passionate about chess, and that's what you need. And I think you see so many. If you go to, for example, to an English weekend tournament, any level, you talk about the intermediate or the minor or the open. It doesn't really matter. In fact, probably it's kind of more passion at the kind of intermediate.
It's crazy competitive
minor stage. You have these guys, and they just love it.
They're addictive. But then chess is addictive, so I totally understand. I mean, I play it, I watch it, I want to talk about it. It's a great game.
Yeah.
Always different. And we are going to start with Gawain Jones versus Romain Edouard. And yeah,
Okay.
I've tried to cover up the results, but unfortunately, I've noticed that there's another area on this where the results are still visible, which is unfortunate. Chess 24.
Right, so this game is already finished, or has it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
So
annoyingly,
Gawain's actually not been in terribly good form this Olympiad.
no, I think he's been a bit lucky actually in some of the games. I mean, he started really strong, but then I guess he was crushing weaker people.
So let's have a look. So far, Gawain, it's tough because you actually looking at England's makeup. You think that probably these 4 players who are playing today are going to be the 4 who play most of the games.
Yeah, they're definitely the strongest 4. I mean, it's only really Nigel Short and Matthew Sadler missing.
Yeah, Nigel Shaw, Matthew Sadler, and then you would probably include Jonathan Hawkins as a very, very kind of sensible alternative to Nick Pert as the 5th player.
Yeah, I wonder how they made that choice on the 5th player. It must have been fine lines.
My understanding, and it's very limited, is that Hawkins declined a place.
Oh, okay, so he did have the option.
But that's only because I read something on, I think it was Simon's streaming about it. And
yeah, they're friends, aren't they? So yeah, he probably would know.
He would know because they play for the same 4 NCL team.
Yeah.
But I mean, Hawkins is getting on for 2,600 and is an extremely well prepared, player. He plays the opening so well. So I don't really understand why he hasn't played a few more of these events, for example.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think he'd be chomping at the bit.
You would think he would be
really keen to play in it. I mean, has he played an Olympiad before?
I don't think so. I think he might have played a European Team Championship,
which is still good.
I think we had this conversation before about European teams and how strong that is. But I don't know the kind of reasons why he might have declined if he was indeed offered the place. So we have 5 good players, and these 4 who are playing have not so much pressure, I don't think. If you saw, there's a brief interview with David on I think it might be YouTube or the official website, and he was kind of joking that they're not really thinking about a medal. They're just thinking about a top 10 finish would be nice.
I'm a little bit disappointed in that, Adam, to be honest. I want my guys to be like, oh, we're going to come at least 3rd. At least. Let's get a podium.
Of course you'd like... Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, remember, I had 2 teams in this. I was really hopeful. And even Brazil in the back door, because my wife is Brazilian. So I'm like, oh, I could jump on that bandwagon too. I tried out at the World Cup. They were a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
And sad Brazilians are a really sad thing to see because they're normally so happy. Yes, but you're right. I mean, the 4 that I've chosen, they're to be honest, they're probably at the top of their game at the moment as well. They're all playing. I think that's a big key as well. It's not like they're... If you do pick someone like Matthew Sadler, who's rated as around the same as them, he seems to get all his points in the 4 NCL, just nicking a point here, nicking a point there. Doesn't lose out hardly any games, I've got to say. He's a very good player still.
Matthew Sadler would be my dream pick. If I could pick one player
throw him
to
in
play, I would completely go. I would say, like, Matthew Sadler is an if he could play the Olympiad every time, or the European teams, England would be so much stronger.
I mean, he's just great, right? I mean, it's a shame that he had that big gap when he was getting near the top, right?
Yeah, but isn't it fantastic that he's actually come back and is still really like, I don't know if you've read any of his recent books. So he wrote a book called Chess for Life.
I've heard good things
with Natasha Reagan. They basically just interviewed chess players and kind of wrote about that. But he is firstly, he's a fantastic writer. Secondly, he's an incredibly strong player. And I would think if he was playing again full time, I don't think he would lose it. I think he would be again pushing on for 27, 50 plus. I would say.
I'd be so
because the work ethic is there already. It's kind of ingrained in him.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, he's already like he's 26.90 something anyway, and he seems very part time. That's not a bad level to maintain, is it?
Yeah, and that would be if I could, if somehow he could be the another player on the team, that would make a big difference. But anyway, let's get to what we have, which is a very good team, and hopefully we will beat France today.
Yeah, well, like I say, mixed feelings about that. But yes, if England win, I'm not going to be too devastated. But a draw would be perfect for me. Just say hello to Blazer08 in the chat. Hey mate, how you doing? He was in the Simul earlier with Simon Williams. Actually did quite well, but then Simon's all right at chess, I guess. Right, so I don't know about this. I've stopped at this moment on the board. I'm sure you've seen the stream update, and I'll C3 here for me. I mean, it seems a bit weird. I mean, is he really just trying to blunt that Bishop G2 this early?
So there are a couple of ways of approaching the position. Gawain is a King's Indian player.
Yeah.
And has been for many years. So in that respect, it was a little bit surprising what he's done. Can we go back and forward with the pieces again?
Yeah. Well, you want to go backwards?
No, only one move.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So put
before C6.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have some sort of limited experience in this because I play the Grunfeld and the King's Indian. They're my two defences to D4.
Cool, I'm ready for you next time we play.
Normally here you would play Bishop G7, and then after Bishop G2, you would have to make a decision about playing pawn to D5 or pawn to D6 at some stage.
This is similar to that Ding the Ring game we looked at, right? You got your choice at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And both of them theoretically I think are fine. So yes, it is a little bit interesting. I guess it's a tactical thing that Gawain is just basically saying, right, I'm not going to go for a particularly risky approach today. I'm playing black. I need to make something on the. I need to make something for the team, shall we say?
Yeah.
And let's just approach it. I mean, there's nothing that White can do to take advantage. Black is going to play D5 next move, almost certainly. And I will be happy if I, play a solid game. That would be my thinking.
Do you think he's thinking, right, I would probably have a chance against Roman. I've just got to keep it 2 results as long as possible, just to see how the other boards are going? Is that how you take black in these sort of team competitions? I mean, it'd be nice if he just went for a win every game, but I guess you've got to be a little bit calm.
Yeah, I would actually think that Gawain, and I'm not gonna, I don't know the exact. I would have thought before the game, Gawain would be happy with the draw.
Oh, okay.
That would be my thinking. We've got 2 other whites. David is playing fantastically on board 3.
Yep.
And has every chance of winning every time he plays. So I would be happy to make a draw.
Is that generally true, do you think, with most players in these 4-game matches when they're black? Or do you think if they're higher rated than their opponents, say they're black on ball 1, do they feel like they need to try a bit harder? Or do you think it's just typical tournament procedure, win with white and draw with black, and that's a good pattern?
Yeah. I think it probably comes down to sort of your personally how you're feeling about your chess.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I suspect, and I'm putting words into his mouth, so I don't know.
No, but if it was your team, how would you feel?
If I was playing and I'd been struggling slightly for a bit of form, which has been true of Gawain in this tournament, I would say, then I think he would be thinking, right, look, I don't want to lose again.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He had, I think, quite a tough loss to Mamedov of Azerbaijan.
That was actually a good game by Mamedov, but yeah.
Yeah, he's playing really well, Mamedov.
I think he's won every game, Mamedov. It's ridiculous. We'll get to him at some point.
He drew the last one, but I think apart from that, he's won every game. So, anyway, I mean, this is a solid way to play, and if White is well, I've played Edouard twice myself,
Oh,
and I know how good he is and can be, and has written some. He's written some very interesting books as well.
no.
So it's I suppose slightly too early. It's not. Let's say something. It's not really in keeping with Gawain's style.
No,
Of
because
chess.
he tries to win every game normally, doesn't he? I
Yeah,
mean,
he's a very attacking, very tactical player who is completely comfortable in King's Indians and will defend that opening against anybody really. So it's just, I guess, a slight change of tack.
no, yeah, I mean, like, I'm looking at it now. I've got to Queen A4 by White, and I'm like, okay, pinning the C pawn, so you have to react to that in some way. It's not really feeling like a King's Indian position at all for me.
No, not anymore. No, so
No.
we're kind of talking about, yeah, a more Catalan, I suppose, style position.
Okay.
So I guess the Queen A4 to me looks a little bit strange.
Oh, he's going for the pawn win, isn't he? I'm joking. Obviously, it's still got to play Knight C3 yet. But is it a little bit awkward having the queen there? I think it is. I'd be a bit like keeping an eye on it, I guess, because obviously White wants to crush through the centre, right?
Yeah, but he can't. So after Bishop G7, which is what I would play in this position,
Yeah, seems normal. Yeah, there's no threat yet.
if pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn, which I imagine was maybe the idea,
Yep, that's what's
then
happening. Oh no, he castle. He let him take the pawn. He's allowed.
Oh,
he's allowed to capture on C6.
interesting.
That is
yeah.
interesting. Well, let's put that on the board. It was probably played anyway, but let's just take that pawn and have a think about this position because, why would you do that? There must be something.
So knight takes C6, I imagine.
Okay, and is this another one of those trying to coax the light square bishop to go? Because would you go for the material?
You'd be very happy if the light square bishop went.
Yeah, worth the pawn.
Well, it's going to be 2 pawns, but yes, it's going to be absolutely worth 2 pawns. I mean,
wow.
White's probably in huge trouble if he takes that knight.
I'm just going to put that on the board because it looks very strange. I mean, obviously, pluses are Black's totally. Well, he's totally developed, and he's going to develop with 10p on the queen as well, isn't he?
So let's play rook b8.
Yeah, rook b8, or what about bishop d7? Is that?
No, I want my bishop on the other diagonal.
Ah, you want it on the b, yeah, on the a8 b h1 diagonal, yeah.
So let's say rook b8, and then White's going to play maybe something to blunt that diagonal. So knight f3, I imagine.
Yeah, that seems sensible.
He's miles behind in development.
Yeah, bishop b7 and queen c2.
Yeah, that seems pretty sensible.
Try and control a little bit of e4, right? I don't know. So for 2 pawns, yes, everything's out, but I don't know.
Perhaps we maybe just misstepped slightly.
No, we haven't. I mean, I've got the computer, the Chess 24. I know it's a little bit unreliable, but it's basically saying slight edge to Black. It's like 0.4. But
Okay,
that's worth
good. I mean, that's a very good evaluation if we're 2 pawns down.
Exactly,
So
it's 2 pawns worth of initiative, right?
I wondered if maybe the bishop was better on h3 rather than b7, but now I'm thinking about it. I'm wondering if we could do something weird like transfer our queen over to the king side. So if we gave a check on a5, for example.
Yep. Blocking the bishop.
Yeah, and then transfer over to queen h5.
Yeah, we've got a lot of pressure on the f3 square. This is 0-0-0, by the way. But yeah, I mean, I guess the point is that even though you've lost a couple of pawns, you are compensated because literally everything is out and ready to go.
You're fully compensated, and there's much more chance for White to get himself into serious trouble here. For example, we're going to go rook c8 and knight g4, and then to take on f3 and mate you on h2 when you castle. So it's too much.
Yeah, and we've got loads of options. I mean, we could keep kicking the
It's
queen
kind
around.
of like a dream position for a good attacking player.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's the second time I've been surprised in this kind of opening. I think I get very negative of Black against d4 because remember you were showing me that line against
with knight c6.
Yeah, exactly. The knight c6 line again. This is knight c6, and it just for me, I'm like, oh, I'm giving up too much. I must be losing. But
I think one thing I can't remember where I read it, but this idea of giving up the exchange, as we were doing in, we weren't doing it in this line, but even at the cost of winning that fianchetto bishop on g2, even if we were giving up the exchange, I think that happened in our knight c6 line where
yeah, in a few lines it did. And then the light squares were stupidly weak.
Yeah, exactly. Your light squares are just not good, not good enough to cope. So I could understand here that white did something much more kind of solid.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. So black castled, ignored the pawn takes. Oh, he did take the pawn. Okay, so.
Oh, we did take the pawn.
Yeah,
okay.
And he played knight c6 as well. So this is interesting. I
so
guess
then
this would be the point.
He's going to play something like e3 or.
Yeah, this is the point where he won't take on c6.
Yeah.
No, he didn't yet. Knight f3. So a developing move makes sense. But he's a pawn down black, so I guess that's the thinking here.
Yes, it's quite interesting that Gawain just didn't take back on d5 with his knight.
Especially when like you said, when you're feeling a little bit like the last two games, he was lucky against Brazil, and then he got crushed in the very next game. You'd think maybe giving a pawn away against a decent player like Rahman might not be the best idea.
Yeah, I mean, it shows that Gawain is still kind of comfortable in this. I think this is really his true strength in some ways, is the fact that when he plays with an initiative and an attack, he's a real calculator. So he kind of backs himself in tactical positions a lot of the time. So this is more, I would say, more comfortable for him. So in that respect, I suppose the opening choice of playing c6 d5 was a little bit weird, just very slightly.
Yeah, but I mean, you're right. I mean, it's kind of a ode to Gawain that he's still sticking to his guns, even though technically the last two games were not great for him. He's still saying, no, I still play my best chess this way, no matter what.
Yeah. So let's see. What happens.
Aldo's in the chat saying hello to you. He's also saying I've hit the big time. I guess that's because I've managed to get you on stream, Adam. So, kudos.
I'm not sure about that. Maybe it's because you've just gone to get a cup of coffee.
I did. But I knew you'd talk for just a little bit longer than it would take me to get to the kitchen and back. So I judged that perfectly. So, black goes straight for knight d5. Okay, nice and active. But is he encouraging white to play e4? Is that something he's trying to do?
Well, unfortunately, at the moment, white can't play. Yes, he is absolutely encouraging white to play e4 because he can't do it. Because then the knight will come to b6 and hassle the queen.
Let's just show that, because that's like a kind of Patson move.
I imagine this is still probably a pretty well-known position, whereby black will be winning the d4 pawn back because there's so much pressure.
Yeah, yeah. There's loads. I've just put that position on the board. Yeah, d4 is falling basically, like London would be falling in the movie, which is a terrible film. Don't go and watch it. Okay,
there loads of films like that. There was the White House.
Yeah, they're the same. They're like sequels of each other. I can't remember. I think White House was the first one, and then it was London. But I like Gerald Butler, but I didn't like that movie too much. Can't say I did. So what's sensible here then? Knight c3.
I would play e3 as soon as I possibly could.
Yeah, just solid up that d pawn.
But then
I win again, Adam. That must be at least twice I've got it right out about 100 attempts.
So knight c3 happened.
Yeah.
Knight b6, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. Gain time on the queen. Queen c2. No, I've stopped playing like a GM. Queen d1. Makes sense. He's defending the d pawn.
Well, it doesn't, in that you can still take the d pawn.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, it's still got enough piece on it. That's unusual then. I wonder why he didn't play your move. I wonder why he didn't play e3 then. Just to hold on to that.
Strikes me that this position is absolutely fine for black.
Well, yeah, I mean, Gawain, as you've said before, he knows his openings, right? So this is only move. What move is this? Can't be many moves.
So e3. The drawback with e3 is that those light squares look a little bit vulnerable. So, for example, if I was now to play something like bishop f5.
Bishop f5. Yep.
And you were to make an actual move like castle.
Yep.
I would be just a little bit concerned about my queen on a4. So, for example, if I then put a knight on b4, and it would probably be my. Let's say I put my c knight on b4.
Okay, so we're threatening the old rook in the corner.
Threatening the old rook in the corner.
Yep. So how are we going to defend that? We are going to try. Just knight a3.
Yeah. And then...
And this, I mean, I know that looks like a funny move, but isn't white actually developing quite nicely here?
Maybe.
I like your move. I like e6. I like it more than knight c3. I say hold on to it for a little while. As long as you can still bring your pieces out, it can't be the end of the world, can it?
Don't know. I mean,
we've got rook
feels
c8 here. No, because we're dropping
Yeah.
the a pawn. I don't know. Tough.
it's the sort of position where black basically just says, right, I'm going to have some long-term compensation for the fact I'm a pawn down, and it's going to be very hard for you to develop your bishop on c1, develop your knight on a3 better.
Yep.
For instance, if I play bishop d3, you'd probably have to go rook e1 rather than rook d1, because d1 is a square you're going to need for your queen.
Yep.
So just to show you that, I think as a highlight, for example, bishop d3, rook d1, I think loses to b5.
Whoops. Let me show that. d1, b5. Wowzers. Yeah.
Because you have to take it with your knight, and then bishop c2 forks your queen and your rook, because you... Oh no, sorry, you have bishop b3. Queen b3, sorry. You have queen b3.
Yep. Just a little hidey hole.
That's the only square.
But you're running out of squares of your pieces as well. Aren't they like not really all defending each other enough times?
No, you're right. Actually, in this position, you're right, because...
It's getting loose.
Hello.
Hey.
Sorry, that's my fiance. She's just saying hello.
Yeah, that's cool. My wife legged it as soon as I started talking about chess. She had the right idea.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I mean, in this position, I've misplayed it for sure. So e3 must have been a serious alternative.
Yeah, no, I agree. So White's probably just being sensible though. Maybe he's just saying, I know what Gwain's like with the initiative. I'll just give the pawn back. I know I'm going to develop easy enough.
I don't think strong players think like that, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
I really don't. I think that they back themselves in most positions. So I would say probably that I would guess that's not how Edouard is thinking. He's probably just thinking, I'm going to just play what I see as the best move on the board.
Yeah, no. That is how they get strong, I guess. They don't get cowed by playing against other people.
No.
They play their game, right?
Exactly.
Which
right,
Gawain
yeah,
is proving too. He's saying, "Oh, I've given a pawn because that's how I play. I don't care. Don't care how if you're 26, 40, or 50 or whatever. I know that at some point I'm going to get something if you take it."
Yeah.
So he's gone for bishop g4. So is he giving up the bishop pair to win the pawn back? What's going on with that move? Because he could have already won the pawn, as you said.
Yeah, he's probably just going to play queen d7.
Oh, really? Nice. I hope so. I like that kind of attack. Just like get rid of the light square bishop and play harry up the ball and win.
Yeah,
I've watched too much Simon.
You can't quite do that here because you don't have a rook on h8.
No, I was only teasing. I'm just. It's like when Simon ever does any of his videos and his blitz games, he just says, "Oh yeah, just gonna swap the f3 knight, bring the h pawn up, bring the queen in, and checkmate." You know, it makes it sound really easy, and then doesn't do it.
Again, I'm a little bit just slightly confused.
Yeah, I don't get this move either because.
So if the bishop, we should probably get on because there's loads to talk about, but at the same time, the bishop on c8, there must have been a slight problem. For example, knight takes d4, knight takes d4.
Take with the queen.
Queen takes d4, queen takes d4, bishop takes d4. So let's say all the pieces came off.
Yeah, I'm at that position now. Looks alright.
And then maybe knight to b5, or is that any value in that?
Just put your bishop back on e5.
Yeah.
Looks alright.
Bishop to e5.
Maybe he just thinks this is really sterile, and maybe he is wanting a little bit more.
It looks okay, doesn't it? It doesn't look
symmetrical
too bad.
pawns,
Doesn't
same
look
minor
too bad.
pieces. You both got a C bishop that just needs to get out next move, kind of thing. Maybe it's too level for them. Maybe Gawain.
Perhaps. I mean, that bishop on g2 is probably quite a bit better than its counterpart on c8. So it might not be quite as easy as we think to.
But then the bishop g7 is better than the bishop on c1 by the same argument, no?
True. No, absolutely true.
Um,
Absolutely true.
yeah, I mean, the computer was saying 000, by the way. I got a little bit of an advantage on you, Adam, because I do have the little bar. Though it has been wrong before.
So you're cheating.
I'm not cheating so much. I'm
That's
just
not
leveling
gonna
the field.
do-
It's not telling me what the moves are. It's just got the little bar going up and down, so I can tell roughly.
It's
what
quite
the position
weird,
is.
that little bar, isn't it? Because sometimes it really likes a position and then it
And it
can
changes its
change.
mind. Yeah, no, I agree. It's very strange. It once and
Okay.
it announced mate in 18 once, and it wasn't. It's so stupid. So he played bishop e4. You're right. Let's get on a bit.
Yeah,
I'm only quizzing you at the opening stage on this one particularly because I really want something to play against d4 openings. So I'm a lot more keen to talk about it when I see it.
I mean, the reason that I adopted the King's Indian was because it's a relatively universal system. You can use it against c4, knight f3, combinations of d4 and knight f3, I hate symmetry. I just dislike it.
I think Gawain's in your boat too because he took the f3 knight with his bishop.
Okay, so
There's an
bishop
imbalance.
takes. I'm guessing bishop takes.
Yeah. He doesn't want to mess up his pawns. That doesn't make sense. Because at some point he may even just hold on to that pawn and play e3 at some point. So black's going to have to take it at some point. Which could be now. Yeah, he's fine.
Let's do it now. Let's do it now.
I think he just wants another set of minor pieces on the board, Adam. Just give him more chances. Would you agree that's fair? Because in this line, not everything's getting swapped off.
Yeah, it's just.
It might just be level. It just may be that kind of game, you know.
I guess if you take with your bishop, then you can take with your bishop now, and black's going to play. I mean, black has not had any problems from what it seems like in the
not even
opening.
slightly, right? Just for giving that pawn, he's equalised, hasn't he? I mean,
Yeah, I would say fairly comfortably. Occasionally, this knight on c3 might be able to dream about coming to c5, and that would be a problem. That would be a problem in conjunction with the bishop.
yeah, I don't understand White's next move either. He gave up the really good light square bishop for the c6 knight.
Okay, so he's damaged the pawn structure. So
He's weighed up that's worth the bishop pair.
It's changing the position a little bit. I guess he's thinking, well, I can't really now be worse unless the bishop on d4 and the knight on b6 comes into c4. So if I can do something concrete, then black will always have just one slight disadvantage, which is this pawn structure.
Yeah. It's a fair target, isn't it? That c pawn, isn't it? You can get a rook over and attack it, etc. And the a pawn's
So
not
I
really
imagine
that
he's
strong.
going to do something like just start making some developing moves with
Bishop
a little bit
d2,
of
rook c1, something like that.
Bishop d2, yeah. Well, bishop d2 might run into knight c4.
Oh, okay,
So,
and that's what he wants.
Yeah, it's
isn't it?
probably
Yeah.
not the best square. Maybe bishop h6 or rook d1 immediately, or what was played?
Yeah, bishop h6. And again, I know we're rehashing what you told me in the last video we did. It's a move I keep not seeing. It's really funny, but why wouldn't you get your bishop out for free? I guess in this case, you're developing the rook in one way. I guess that rook was always going to move to the d
Yeah,
file.
this exactly. I mean, here the bishop just comes to h6 to be developed, and the rook will move to d8 almost certainly just because it either that or b8.
Yeah, no.
Just to improve the position of the bishop of the rook.
And then do you argue what's the advantage having your bishop on h6?
I guess you can play e3 and kick the bishop. That would be my guess, without blocking it in.
Well, he went with what we mentioned first, which was he wanted the bishop out and then to play rook c1, rook a c1.
Okay, yeah.
So he's after the c pawn.
That's smart because now knight c4 you can just attack it with your pawn.
Yeah, because he's defending the knight. Yeah, exactly. So and that'd be useful. I guess he wants that b pawn on b3, does he? Just to get it off the dark squares.
Yeah,
Is
absolutely.
that just a general strategy for if you've got a dark square bishop, stick your pawns on light squares? Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, completely. Especially if that rook might come to b8 and come down the file. So.
Yeah, and then I guess black will then try to play a5, a4, and then try and do some sort of.
But that's very slow here.
Yeah.
So
Gawain went for some more trades, but he's also trying to improve his pawn structure. I guess he played knight d5.
Hmm.
So is that he just wants to be taken and then repair his pawns, basically?
Yeah.
Okay. Which
Um,
Roman said no. No, no thanks.
Roman said knight a4. What
He
did
did.
Roman
Yeah,
say?
I think he's going for the c5 square here, is he?
Yes, definitely. So generally speaking, with an isolated pawn, you put the piece in front of the isolated pawn,
And is it
normally a
generally
knight.
good to be a knight? Is that usually the piece you want?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. A knight normally, here it might well get exchanged, but then that bishop is going to be better than the knight in the end game that comes. So now, for example, if the rook comes to b8, so he's maybe seen that this is the case, but now not knight c5.
Yeah, I mean, he's come back. Should we just see why he came back? Let's go. He went back to c3, but what's so bad with putting it on c5? Surely this isn't a bad square for a knight.
So this happened. They came back.
Yeah, he went back to c3. So
I guess there's something. So if I was now to just take maybe it's just very, very simple. Maybe you just take that pawn on b2 that's hanging.
take the pawn. What's white got?
He's not got. I mean, he's sacrificing a pawn for nothing, isn't he? I mean, you can go rook c2, bishop back to d4, or bishop back to g7.
And then, well, you're going to attack the c pawn when you move your knight, right? So can we play?
You are, but you've lost the pawn for the sake of it, so you can never be any better, because even if you lost that c pawn, then
Are we getting it back after knight b3?
not necessarily. I mean, why not? Maybe my last move was bad. Let's put the bishop on g7, for example, and just swap it off.
There doesn't seem to be a good knight move to get out of the way and attack something, does it?
Yeah, you might be able to win it back, and you might be okay, but
yeah, because doubling up on the c file is going to be easy enough. But I guess you've got to watch out for a rook getting to d2. Is that something you'd be aware of? To watch
I mean, there's no reason why white should try and do this, I guess. So
yeah, so he didn't.
Exactly. So the knight comes to c3, and I guess he's got then after knight d5.
This might be the draw then, Adam, I'm guessing.
Is it the draw?
It may be. Yeah. We got some repeating and then draw. Yep. So a game with not a lot in it.
No, not very much in it, and probably both sides are relatively happy with that. Roman is a little bit lower rated than Gawain, but not by much. And Gawain's probably okay with that.
Yeah, he stopped the bleeding. Isn't that a term that people use?
It is, yeah. It's
I like that term.
I like very much. It always slightly disturbs me, the term "stop bleeding," but yeah, no, he has.
I don't know why. I've always liked that one. I like the idea.
Oh, you've liked it.
Yeah, I've always liked the idea of like chess being a blood fest, and
Okay.
You're leaking blood. You're like, oh, just get bandaged up. Just take a rest. You don't need to keep throwing yourself into the fray. Have a timeout. Okay, so we've got Hal versus Fresnay.
Right, let me. I'll be back in 1 second.
Sure. See, again, like we've seen the results. I wish there was a way that I could, because the problem is, even if what I've done is I thought I was being clever by sticking the Chess 24 label over the draw, but the problem is right next to the board is a rating up or down, and I can't cover that one. So some of the results we're just going to know straight away, and we just hope that not every draw is going to be a board draw. I mean, they're not always. Not every draw is boring. Sometimes they're just dynamic draws. Having the final position of the ball is a bit of a... To be fair, they look like they had loads of play left in it, so this would be an interesting one. We'll keep going from England's point of view. Let's go. We are David Howe.
Okay, let's do it. Sorry.
Right. The results in on this one as well.
Spaghetti bolognese.
Oh, lovely. We're on the results come in as well on this one. I don't know if I should tell you it beforehand or have you already seen?
No, I haven't seen.
Oh, I'll keep it a secret then.
Keep it a secret.
I will.
Is it a draw?
I'm not saying nothing. You can find out. You can be on tenterhooks. So, okay, David Howe, knight f3. Interesting. Okay, I didn't know he was a knight f3 player. I thought he was more like an English. I know he can transpose, but I thought he was more of an English player.
Plays everything, David Howe.
Oh, just everything. Okay, one of those players can't prepare for him. D5. Okay, so it's going to be. These are very simple. Did the England squad just get together and just say, look, guys, today we're going to just fianchetto everything, and look on your opponent's board and just copy what he's doing.
Yeah, maybe.
So I'm going to whiz through this until we get. Hey, it's almost exactly the same as the Gwen game, isn't it? Colours reversed.
A little bit. I guess C4 now is a little bit more difficult to play. Yeah.
Okay, so this time we're going for B3. So double fianchetto.
Double fianchetto. Oh, okay.
Bishop. Yeah. Develop. C4. Okay. 94. Yeah, makes sense. See, this is where I was struggling when I was trying to do the commentary on my own, because all these openings started to look the same to me. I know there's loads of finesses, but I only really got some traction when I got about halfway through and then tried to be one of the people, which I think is a good way to analyse anyway.
Yeah, to you put yourselves in their position or what have you.
So from here, let's have a look. What? Okay, so this is a few moves in. What would you say the comp of Val would be in this? How would you feel as white?
I imagine that Black would like to play A4 at some stage, but maybe he can't do it yet just because that bishop on C3 is well played. I imagine again. I think Black is very, very, very solid.
Yeah, no major weaknesses, nothing on pre, blah blah blah.
Yeah, and having said that, there's still quite a lot of chess to be played.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
But Black should probably be fairly happy with the opening. He might even have some cheeky little idea of playing knight to C5 at some stage to use the pin, and then that knight might even come to E4. In fact, that might even be a good plan now, because I was thinking of putting knight F6 to E4.
You're right. It's an active move, isn't it? Where's the knight? Oh, and then into E4. Yeah, I like that, Adam.
Well, yeah, and it threatens bishop D3 as well, so maybe it saves a move. Possibility.
Yeah, that's nice, actually. That's a very, very taking advantage of the pin, right? He may well play this. I have no idea. But that makes a lot of sense. So if you play knight C5 here, as Adam's saying, you can drop straight into E4 because you can't take that knight because you just drop the bishop. Actually, would that be that bad, do you think? Just swapping the knight for the bishop, would it be that horrible? After bishop
no, it wouldn't be that horrible. So knight C5, they'd probably do something like rook D1.
Could you just take the knight?
Oh, do you mean just trading off?
Yeah, would that be that bad?
I think Black would be quite happy.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And then what from here? Because I can always take the D pawn after you move your bishop. I don't know if my pawn on C5 is any good. Possibly not.
Well, let's put the bishop back, let's say.
Just to G7 again.
Yeah.
And then do I take? I don't know if I need to take. But I don't know. I feel. I don't know. Maybe there's nothing. You don't take with a. What would you take with? Would you take with a queen? Is that risky? Is that?
Yeah, I would say that's probably too risky. You take with a pawn.
And then are you kind of happy? You might have a decent C pawn there.
I would be quite happy.
Yeah, I'm not sure how bad this is for giving up the dark square bishop.
I guess the knight would come to D4 at some stage, and
yeah, that's a nice square for it.
Be okay. It'd probably be not too bad for.
So I'm just saying. I mean, it's a nice move though. If you don't take it, that's the point. Because if you don't take it, then the knight. I think your plan of bishop D3 or knight into E4 actually looks really nice with Black. But if you can just take the knight, it sort of kills the idea, doesn't it? You're like, oh.
For sure. I don't. Yeah.
I mean, he may play it anyway. Let's have a look. No, he went straight bishop E4.
Bishop E4.
Okay. I hope one of these games is really dynamic. We need like a Sicilian mate.
We need a win for England.
Well, yeah, that'd be nice as well. Yeah. I guess it doesn't really matter how it comes. So we had some swaps. And then we had queen B5 and draw. What's that all about? I mean, I'm sorry, but that's not right, is it? You can't take a draw here.
Is that what happened? This was a draw in this position.
Real.
Interesting. Well, that's going to require me to have a sip of beer just
to digest that one, yeah.
Very.
That's unusual, isn't it?
David is such a fighter.
Unusual, especially, and he knows he was white, right? And he knew there were 2 draws already. Do you
What
know what
was
it
the
is?
time?
Maybe when we get to the second to last game that hasn't finished, maybe that game's a good game for England. I'd see this as a good sign
I would have thought so. I mean,
because he just doesn't want to
otherwise-
lose, right? He just, if the other game's winning, you take the team win, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm starting to feel positive.
It's very, yeah, I would say it's very unusual for David, even if he had very little time, which I suspect here he didn't have. I can't believe he was in his normal sort of time trouble by this stage. What was the time? Let's have a look.
He's got 10 minutes left.
He's got 10
Oh
minutes.
no, it does go on a little bit longer. Sorry, my bad. I thought that was the end of the chain, but it's very soon to here.
Okay.
So queen back. Because I saw this. Yeah, he repeats here, which I don't understand. I still don't get it. If anything, white. I mean, by the thermometer has a very. I think it's 0.4 here for white. Surely that's enough to play on. I mean, again, I don't really like computers anyway because they're very good at tactical positions, and this isn't one of those. So
Yeah,
I don't know what massive edge white has here, but why would you take a draw unless that other game's going really well for you?
I agree with you.
So
I don't see it, and as I say,
he burned so much time. I'm not lying. He was on 10 minutes and 43 seconds at this position.
so he probably had a look, and
Let's see. I'm really really interested because it's the next game we're going to look at because it's not finished yet. The board 1 was a draw as well.
okay, so it's all down to board 2, which is Luke McShane, who has also been struggling quite a bit. And he will be playing back row. And this is a very interesting game. So,
And it's interesting that he's black as well. And you'd imagine, like, if you're going to pull the, oh, we're okay here because we're going to win. It's not always the case with black, is it?
yeah, and this is interesting. This is an old school battle in a lot of respects. This is back row and McShane are the same age.
Okay.
And,
That's still fairly young, though, isn't it? I mean, because McShane's been around forever, isn't he? Is he still in his 20s? Or has he hit 30 now?
McShane won, because I was there at the time, he won the World Under-10 Championships in 1992 at the age of, I think, 8 or 9. So he's born 83 or 84. So he's 35.
Okay. It's just because, again, I'd imagine him being older because he's been around forever.
Pretty sure that's right. Yeah, and back row, I'm pretty sure was playing in that same tournament.
I was going to say, that particular tournament that he won, that World Under 10, didn't it have a big list of really top players now? Wasn't like Aronian in there and players like that?
Aronian, Gristruk, I'm pretty sure back row. I might have just got
Imagine all them as mini people.
No, I haven't got this completely wrong. He was born in 1983, back row. So, yeah, he was born in January 1983, and McShane was born in. I'm just seeing if he's got Wikipedia.
I'm sure he does. They'll also say he's the best,
the
world's best
McShane
amateur
was
player.
actually is a year older.
Okay.
But they might. I'm pretty sure they both still played in that tournament because McShane, I think, won it a year young. So
yeah.
This is interesting. This is old school kind of rivalry.
Nice, like it.
Which is probably adds a little bit of an extra.
What's he for? Oh, a French. How exciting! Where's Simon when you need him?
I like the French. I think French is quite
good stuff. Okay, at least you know something about it. I like the white side, and I always play Bishop D3 and say, well, I'm going to get some sort of attack. Let's go. Okay, nice C3 line. So it's going to be sharp if he plays Bishop B4, right?
Yeah.
But then the classical could be sharp too. Is there a classical line in this?
Yes, so Knight F6 or Bishop B4.
Yeah, so both fighting openings for black, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
He went for Knight F6. So we're going to go classical. I guess there's some weird custard attack, isn't there? Is that a real thing when you play Bishop G5 and H4? I'm guessing it's...
Yes, that's what I play actually.
Oh, you do? Wicked. I mean,
Bishop G5.
I looked at knight c3 to play against the French, but there's just so many things to look at. It's just so many lines.
So you don't go h4 here
Oh,
because
you don't. It's not straight away. Sorry. What happens here?
So you play e5.
Oh yeah, sorry. Push. Yep. Oop.
Knight d7 and then h4.
Sorry, that makes more sense. Because yeah, you're sacking the pawn, aren't you?
And actually, this is a really fun line for white to play.
So let's do the obvious.
So let's just show why. For example, you don't have to, and most people probably these days don't take the bishop.
Oh, they don't. Okay, I'll put that back.
Bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes is now forced.
Yep.
And then white tends to play the move knight h3, which is a slightly counterintuitive move.
Well, it gains time on the queen, I guess. I mean.
Yeah, but it's interesting you don't put it on f3, you put it on h3.
Oh yeah, both ways, yeah. Are you trying to get to f4? Is that a thing? Or what's
yeah, exactly. So the queen will then come back, so queen e7.
Yeah.
And then knight f4.
Straight in knight f4. No, see, in those positions I'm thinking f4, f5, but yeah, okay, yeah.
You'd like to play, the point of queen e7 rather than queen d8 is that you'd like to play queen g4 as white.
Alright, yeah, throw it straight in, yeah.
To attack the pawn, but against queen g4, black can respond with f5. So now the point is that the move that black would dearly love to play is pawn to c5, but he can't because his dark squares are too weak. Excuse me, because then knight to b5 happens.
Hang on a minute. What? Hang on. I'm going back to your first line. What was wrong with queen g4 if he went to d8?
No. So the point is that with the queen on d8,
yeah,
he can't do this line
because.
But if the queen's on e7, then queen to g4 is met by f5.
Okay. So let's go to this. So what's after queen e7? Knight f4.
Knight f4.
Yep. And he can't.
I mean, there's positives and negatives to both moves because now after knight f4,
yeah,
there's some situations you might even want to take on d5.
Really? Wow. With which knight?
I don't think it normally matters.
Oh, because you're going to take back either way, right?
So the best move, and this is going back to some very old hazy theory. So the point I was trying to make here was that pawn to c5, which is the natural,
which is a very normal move, yeah,
is going to be destroyed by knight to b5.
Knight to b5, wow. Oh, wow, yeah. I mean, that d6 square is something, right?
d6 or c7, whichever you prefer.
Oh, either or, yeah, that's the point. So if you castle c7, if you don't castle d6, would that be fair? If you play
well,
knight
if you castle,
h6,
you're probably just going to get done in with something happening on h7, I would guess.
Oh, even then, well, yeah, of course, yeah, because the rook's there. Oh yeah, okay, I can see the temptation.
It's a really kind of dangerous attacking line for black to have to deal with.
And that's only if he takes the bishop, though, I guess.
That's only if he takes the bishop. But even if he doesn't take the bishop, then still white has quite a bit of good attacking chances. So it's become more and more popular instead of playing bishop to e7. If we go back a few more moves.
Yeah, I'm back to h4.
No, even before that.
Oh, before that. Yep. So bishop g5, then.
Yeah, instead of playing bishop to e7 there, you go bishop to b4.
Right here. Okay. Yeah, so this has got a name, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's called the McCutcheon French.
That's it. Yeah, and you play a3, b5, b4, right?
So you play e5.
Oh, e5 first, right? Okay.
Which threatens. Well, it does look like it wins a piece.
So you have to play h6.
So you have to play h6. And then most lines.
They take the knight, don't they?
Well, there's three moves. So most of them, you don't take the knight.
You come back.
You come back along the diagonal. So yep. Bishop to h4 is well met by pawn to g5.
Yep.
So in the old days, they used to play bishop to d2 here, which is the kind of typical move to break the pin.
Instead of dropping the bishop back. Yeah, that makes sense.
Instead of bishop to h4. Because in that sequence that we just looked at, although it might look a little bit messy for black to have double pawns, it's pretty good. And now black will take the knight.
Yep.
Pawn, and then, so there's quite a famous game of Bobby Fischer's in his My 60 Memorable Games where white played bishop takes c3.
And then the knight goes somewhere.
And then the knight will jump into e4.
Yeah,
and then they started to realise that pawn takes bishop was a much better move.
Why is the bishop good in that diagonal?
Bishop in this position is not that useful.
What, either or, whether you take on c3 or leave it on d2?
So here the point is that after knight e4, sorry, in your sequence, I'm probably at a slightly different place to you. But after b takes c3,
yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm just obviously delayed, a little bit.
Yeah, and then queen to g4, which is typical.
Queen g4. Oops, it's queen to g4. Yep, attacking the g pawn.
And then something like some way of dealing with the g pawn. So you can't castle because the bishop takes h6.
Yep, that's quite. Yep, that's cool.
So you'd have to play g6, g5, or king f8, I believe.
I think king f8's a normal annoying move.
Yeah,
isn't
king
it?
f8's a normal move.
Yeah.
And then after king f8, you would go bishop to d3 to attack the knight.
Yep, this all makes
And the knight
sense.
would take on d2, and the king would take on d2.
Okay, so you got. Is that. And Black's arguing that he may get a chance against that king, or?
Black's arguing that he'll get a chance against that king, and White's arguing that he's not going to have that much chance against the king.
Wicked.
And
I take it we're not swapping queens here for Black.
No, and I think there's a reason why queen swap it. I think queen swap is supposed to be okay, but so I started. If you go back to the position after the pawn goes to h6,
yeah, attacking the bishop. Yeah,
there's some other really funky moves that White can play. So the move that I started playing at a relatively serious level was the move bishop to c1.
Oh, all the way back. Wowzers.
And the point is that I'm trying to embarrass the knight on f. So bishop to c1.
Yep.
The knight will jump into e4.
Yep.
And then we're going to play the move knight to e2 to guard that other knight that way. And just not allow that knight on e4 to take the bishop, basically.
Okay, so you just maintain it. And have you got a sneaky idea of maybe getting it out to a3 at some point if that pawn does take back?
Yeah, exactly. So if a piece exchanges on c3, then that bishop loves to be on a3 a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's on the outside of the pawn chain, and it stops the king castling potentially, or could be an attacker. Do you know what, that bishop on a3? I've actually won a few mating games because of covering the f8 square. It's actually quite useful there.
Yeah. So there's a few different lines, but it seems that that's the way that people have tended to shift, and that's the reason that in some ways bishop to g5 on move 4 or 5 has fallen out of fashion.
Yeah, they're going more for the pawn push straight away now, aren't they?
Pawn push straight away, keep a few more pieces on, and go from there.
Well,
really.
Simon, just keep name dropping him, but he is good in the French, isn't he? He's been playing this classical side of it. And I think something weird this year, he's like the highest rated French defence player. I think it's weird, like he's got some record of, it's either 6 out of 7 or 6.5 out of 7. And a performance rating of like 2750 as Black in the French.
Right, wow.
But he's been really pushing this classical line as a really good attempt to win as Black.
Yeah, I think as soon as the White plays knight to c3, I think that actually you're quite happy because both lines, both bishop to b4 and knight to f6, are good chances for Black.
Yeah.
Whereas if Black was to if White was instead to play, let's say, the Tarrasch French with the knight on d2, then things are, I guess, a little bit more uncomfortable for Black. So
are they saying that the Tarrasch is still the best line to? I mean, I've heard that for a few years, that the Tarrasch is the one that tests Black the most. Has that been your opinion too, or?
I would, if I was put on the spot, I would say yeah, probably.
Okay. And why is that? Because for me, it's not very aggressive putting your knight on d2.
No, it's not. But also at the same time, it doesn't. It's just a very different way of playing because you don't have the same kind of attacking ideas, but you never give yourself any kind of structural weakness because you're going to have double pawns on the c file.
So is a better positional chance for White? Because I think
Yes, absolutely, it's a
the
better
French is
position.
pretty much a positional opening anyway, isn't it? Unless White tries to hack, but it's positional for
It's
Black.
it's a positional opening, but there's quite a few times where often White normally breaks the rules and will, for example, he'll have pawns on in my systems that I try to play with White. I'll have pawns on c2 and then c3 because it's been doubled up because Black will have taken that knight off.
Yep.
And then my pawn on d4 will often take on c5. So I'll give myself tripled isolated pawns. But at the same time, by doing that, I'll have control over a lot of squares and I'll have a few.
Do you get those kind of positions a lot when you play bishop b4 lines? What's it called? The winnower?
Yeah, the winnower. Yeah. So quite a few times that happens. That sort of thing happens. And they can lead to some really interesting positions.
I used to hate playing against the French, Adam. It's really funny. There's always a certain opening that you as an amateur you come across and your heart sinks when you see your opponent play a move. I play e4 because I want people to be having as much fun as me, attacking left, right and centre, there's usual sacks, etc. But in the French I kept hitting this brick wall constantly over and over and over.
That's really interesting. I was completely the opposite of you. I used to dream about my opponent playing the French. I just had there's some really hacky lines. So again, go back to the winnower.
Yeah.
So bishop b4.
Yeah, I'm going back. Hang on, wait. Yep.
e5.
Straight 5. Yep.
I had quite a few games with Simon actually when we were quite young. We used to play this quite a lot. So Simon used to play the winnower pretty much all the time.
Yeah, he did. It's only really stopped recently, funny enough. But anyway, carry on.
So c5 is the normal move here.
Yep.
It's not the only move, but
and you play
c5. I didn't used to. No, I used to play bishop to d2.
Bishop d2. Oh, okay. Oh right. Okay.
Which is.
So it's not main. Is this has got to be some sort of side.
It's actually a very good line for amateurs to play bishop d2.
Because I think everybody plays the old queen g4 lines, don't they? Here, and then there's a lot of theory, like a3 and then bishop, queen g4.
Yeah, I mean, there's also if you just put the bishop back on c1.
Yep.
White can also, and this is a pretty handy trap to know, you can go queen to g4 immediately.
Straight away, yep.
And if they take on d4,
yep.
You take on g7.
Yep.
They take on c3 with their pawn.
Yep.
So they're threatening to make a new queen, you're threatening to win their rook.
Yep.
So what's the winning move for White?
You put me under pressure. I wasn't expecting questions, Adam.
Yeah, sorry. The first question of the day.
Oh, man. So White to play and win, eh?
White to play and win.
Well, let's see. You can't save the rook, no matter what. So, actually, you can. You can play. No, you can't. So I'm just stopping the pawn queening, right? And then I'm winning a rook.
So your natural talent is coming out here. Pawn b3. Yeah, b3 just wins.
Yeah, because you can't stop. You just can't stop winning that. It's still an exchange. I guess there's still tricks here, no? Or is it just?
I guess there's some tricks, but it's basically lost for Black.
Wicked. I wonder how many games have gone down in the annuals but then I don't know, because you are thinking you're going to get a queen, so I guess you could be tempted to do this line. It's a tempter, as they say.
And so queen g4, again, we're going away from the game, but that's fine.
We'll get there. Don't worry, mate. We'll get there.
No. So instead of pawn takes pawn here, for example, after queen g4, even queen g4 is, I think, actually a really, really smart move. Or bishop d2. Okay, let's do bishop d2.
Well, no, we'll do what you're just talking about. But yeah, I mean, this doesn't look bad for White. I mean, it's White, when they play these kinds of lines against the winner, are always after this queen g4 move. So why not a move early?
So in this position, the best move, I think, is to play knight to e7.
Yeah, and in this way, if you sack the pawn, at least you're getting your rook to the g file, right?
So you're sacking the pawn. And then what I used to do here after knight e7 was then to take on c5.
Oh, okay, that's unusual.
Which again, as I say, it looks really anti-positional.
It looks like you're going to play d5.
it looks like he's going to play d4, but actually, if you think about it, d4 doesn't threaten anything because the queen pins the pawn to the bishop anyway.
Ah, clever. Yeah. It's a good point. Yeah, the bishop's on pre. Yeah, I wonder how many times you pick up that bishop for nothing.
So after pawn to d4, you can actually, I think, quite happily just play something like knight to f3 with a good position. And
what's black playing here? Is black going to play?
Let's say he goes knight to c6.
Yeah, knight b to c6. Yeah.
Yeah, and let's say we go bishop to d2.
Yep.
He can't take on e5 because he'll lose his bishop still.
Yep, because the knight's overloaded. Yep.
So he might, for example, here take on c5 with his bishop.
Yep, makes sense. This is looking like a French advance line.
And then you might play, let's say, knight to f3.
I quite like black here, so I'll be quite surprised by what you're going to come up with.
Yeah. You're going to be in trouble soon, I reckon.
I hope so, because then I can start playing this line. But carry on. Yep.
What are you going to do here then?
For black, either queen b6 or queen c7.
Yeah, queen b6, you greedy guy. So queen b6 would not. Queen b6, I think, loses immediate. No, it doesn't lose. Queen b6, I think, loses to knight a4.
Knight a4. Yeah, you're taking. Yeah, I was wondering about this. Do I have time to take this pawn and run away? Is there just no squares for me?
Yeah, so you take the pawn and I go king f2. King e2.
Yeah, there's no squares, is there? The queen has to move. I'm losing the bishop. Yeah.
Think so.
Yeah, it looks like it. I've got no dart squares. None. I mean, you only ever do this if you've got some sort of queen e3 check coming up afterwards. But yeah, queen c7 looks alright. What on queen c7? That looks like a normal move.
Let's go back. Let's have a think.
I guess, are you playing knight b5 potentially? Is that a thing?
I don't think you have a threat. So if I castle queenside, for example.
Yeah, no, I was just literally getting my queen out. That was it. So castle.
So this kind of, you've got this kind of weird situation where that pawn on g7 is constantly wanting to be taken, but at the same time, I'm sort of wanting to open up a few files before you do take it. So if, for example, you were to take it now, I would take on g7, and we'll make that exchange. And you will probably find, just because you've got a little bit less development, that white is going to be doing really well. So, for example, if you were to play knight takes e5 now.
Knight takes e5, yep.
Then queen takes g7. Oh, you're going to grab that one.
Well, no, that's terrible what I just played. That's why I came out of it very quickly. What about... Well, there's no check on f3, so what about bishop f4 here? No, that's rubbish as well. Oh, you just take the queen. What am I
talking
about?
Queen takes g7 will do the job.
Queen takes g7, yeah. Let's not overcomplicate. Attacking a rook, attacking the knight. Yeah, this is just... Yeah, it's bad for black. Really bad. Yeah, would they be that greedy to take that pawn anyway? I mean, black's position...
A lot of people would or kind of misplay the position, for sure.
Okay.
So,
giving them chances to go wrong, right?
To remember, queen g4 against the winner wave is very dangerous.
Yeah, there's a lot of... You have to be aware of black...
Let's get back to the England match. I want to know what happens.
Sorry, yeah. I can tell you the game's still going because I've got live moves popping
That's
up.
Good.
But yeah, thanks for that little education on the French there, mate. I mean, I found that... Remember I said I used to hate playing against it. I've got my own little hacky line that I love, which I'm going to another time. I might have to use it against you. Who knows? So I'll keep it in the bank.
I think you should tell me what it is then.
It's well, it's bishop d3 in the advance, and it's a Milner Barry, but you play your knight to d2 instead of to c3.
Okay.
You get a lot of fun lines of it. I'll put it on the board quickly. I'm sorry. This is the last tangent, I promise. I'll show this because, you know, French players quite like playing against the advance because it's the most logical way to play. You know, they just keep building up against the d pawn. So bishop d3 here, and then bishop d7 to threaten to win the pawn, and I just castle.
Yeah.
And it takes, and then knight b d2, and I've had some crush. Actually, beat my first 2,000 rated player in this.
Is this good? Oh, that's clever. Do it like that.
It's really
Normally
tricky.
you would take the knight and go rook e1, wouldn't you? That's the... Normal way
I
to
mean, there's
do it.
loads of little lines here. I mean,
Or take it and go knight c3. You're right, yeah. But knight normally goes to c3, doesn't it?
it does, and but black seems to know that really well. This one's a bit more flexible because you've got a lot of choices here. You can play bishop c5, you can play knight takes knight, you can play knight c6. You've got lots of choices. Actually, I think I beat a 200 at Golders Green in this line as well. So it's proper dangerous for black if you've not seen it before. I'm sure you're still a pawn down, but you just get easy attacks on the king side because you gain tempi. Say knight takes f3, you take back, and then they play something like knight e7. You're already playing bishop e3, gaining tempi. All your pieces are out here, and suddenly knight g5 is a big threat. Even Simon played this actually today. He beat one of my Chess Patzer Malaga in this line. And I was a bit disappointed because I beat Chess Patzer Malaga in the same line. And he's a young kid, so I was hoping he'd look it up, but he didn't. He got crushed. I was like,
He's not doing his homework.
yeah, it's bad
I'm
times.
going to get the loot. I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Cool, and then we'll go through the main line.
Sure, let's do it.
So yeah, sorry about the tangent, guys. I like Adam. He's a bit like me. I think he likes talking about chess more than actually playing through it. So I think we're going to keep having these sidelines chats. But we're going to get that out of our system soon, and we just concentrate on the games only. But this should be exciting because, as I say, I think he's actually done a DVD on this. I'm not going to keep plugging him too much. But he is good in the French, let's face it. He's very aggressive. And what happens in these types of lines is white will try and win on the king side, and black will try and win on the queen side. And it's a proper pawn rush, like a Yugoslav attack. I don't know if many of you know about that in the dragon line, where you play f3, g4, h4, and you just chuck all your pawns down the board. This is the French version of it, and it's just as dangerous. Both sides. There's a lot of knight play for black, and a lot of pawn play for white. So fingers crossed this one will be exciting. Well, I'll just wait for Adam to come back because he'll know probably a few of the little finesses of it. But this is, for me, this is our first real game to look at because at least I've got some sort of understanding in French positions. Whereas like the two d4 openings we've seen previously, I don't really know. And as you saw, they seem to swap down into a drawish position really quickly. And that's not like how I like to play chess. You do get spectacular games in d4, but not in the lines we just saw. So that's why I'm an e4 player anyway. So another little tangent for you, but he'll be back soon. Got someone trying to talk to me on Discord. He needs to log on and watch this stream. It's Chess Patzer Estonia. Got loads of them now. There's like literally 34 Chess Patzers. Well, I don't know what to do with them all. I just keep organising these internal competitions. We had a World Cup just gone. That was a lot of fun. We're into, actually hasn't finished yet. We've got one guy sitting in the final, Chess Patzer Briz, and we've got another semi-final on Wednesday, Chess Patzer Russia versus Chess Patzer Bergen. So that's going to be exciting. And then I've set up a brand new league. So we've got 3 divisions with 27 Chess Patzers in. And it's great. I'm really enjoying organising it when people turn up and do what they say they're going to do. That's the downfall of organising anything, is that you rely on people. Here he comes.
Here I am.
Right, now we're going to finally get into this game. No more tangents, let's go. So Etienne's gone straight for a f4. So I think that this is all, that's main line, right?
Yeah,
pretty much.
that's normal move.
Yeah. c5. Yeah, I mean, it's all going to be developing and attacking. It's all about attacking d4, isn't it? The French, in this particular case. But I'm seeing, what I was saying just before you came back is, this is probably the equivalent in the French of the dragon with the Yugoslav attack, where it does tend to be both sides chucking pawns down on the opposite wing.
Yeah, white is normally not castling on the king side.
No.
It's considered to be quite risky to do so.
And McShane's already starting with a6 ready to play b5, etc.
I'd just like to say hello to Caro E. Hunt in the chat.
Wicked. Is that someone you know? Or is it
Just my mum.
Oh, wicked. Hi, Adam's mum. How you doing?
She's watching it from Croatia. She's currently on holiday there.
I love that.
Thank you.
Bit of mum support. Everybody needs that.
Mum.
So I'll stop swearing then, because you know that it was a bit of a toilet mouth, and so I'll calm down on that. Okay, so we've already got a move I wasn't expecting from Etienne. Knight E2.
Knight E2.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
he's
certainly unusual in that position. It's not the normal move. You'd normally take on C5 at some stage or play Queen to D2.
yeah, exactly.
Um,
Is he just getting a knight ready to go into D4 after he takes? Because you'd take first, then play knight E2, wouldn't you? Does it make any difference? You're giving black an option here to play C4, maybe. Is that as bad as it looks?
Maybe. I think if all black was to play C4, we'd probably just then go on the king side somehow. So
True. Yeah, you're taking away
it
all
does
your
look
options.
a little bit. It looks a little bit strange. I guess he's trying to force the issue because he might want to play his pawn up to C3 to make the chain. So
Yeah, they may be simply that. Maybe just like you say, C3 actually looks quite nice here. I'm just hovering over the position if I could play it. If I got 2 moves in a row.
yeah.
So let's see what black does. I go straight B5. Okay, so he's ignored it. So I'm guessing white will take now. Yeah, because he's not. Is he gonna? Well, this is interesting actually. So yeah, you're right. I mean, C4 would just close black's attempts on the queen side, wouldn't it? So after you played B5, are you going to play B4 if white doesn't take? What's going on here? Are we going to take on the D4?
He's just gaining some space and probably just waiting to see what white intends to do. Probably white will take on C5 and put his knight, which is slightly strangely placed on E2. He'll probably put that on D4. That would be my.
Then you're helping your F5 push at some point, right?
You're helping the F5 push. You're releasing your bishop. I can't really see why else he. As I say, unless he's going to play pawn to C3. So did he take the pawn?
No, he didn't. He played G3. Interesting. Because that's like slow playing the king side now, isn't it? You'd imagine if we're going to do the... Maybe he's going to castle king side, Adam. Maybe he's just going to play his bishop.
Yes, normally that bishop on F1 that looks like it might go to G2 will actually normally go to H3.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's got 2 choices, hasn't it? Because
it's going to help support pawn F5, which was your idea.
Yeah. That's pretty standard king side attack for white in any sort of... This is almost an advanced pawn structure, except you got a knight on D7 for a change.
It's one of those quite few positions where you can often get a completely closed pawn structure. Maybe the other one I can think of is some mainline King's Indian where white is playing, pawns on the queen side, black's playing pawns on the king side.
Yeah, another exciting opening. I mean, I tend to like the openings where both sides are going for each other's throat. I find them like the first 2 games we looked at. That was very dry. I'm sure it's strategic and they know exactly what they're doing in those positions, but I'd lose because I'd get a bit bored and start putting my pieces in the wrong places.
Yeah.
Well, these are very easy to understand from a beginner's point of view. It's like, well, white's going to attack you here, so you've got to attack him there, and it's a lot more straightforward than, I kind of got to get my knight into the right square, to my bishop to the right square. I know that counts in these positions too, but the first 2 games we looked at, it's all about that.
Yeah, completely.
So let's see how black goes. Black checks. Okay, checks on A5. Is he trying to encourage C3? That's a bit weird, isn't it?
Looks like it.
Oh.
might even move his king.
He did. Yeah, king F2. I like that. Get out of the way.
Yeah, might as well. I suppose if you're not going to castle queen side and you have a choice between putting your king on F2 or G1, why not put it on F2? I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right on F2, isn't it? It's solid behind all these pawns. There's no. If black's doing anything, all the aggression's on the queen side, so perhaps it is a good idea to dart your king to the other side. Let's see how black responds. Black just gets on with... this would be interesting. So he's played bishop E7. Is he going to try and do like H5, H4 here?
No.
Is it too much to ask?
Yeah, probably. Black will be looking just... He'll probably start by looking to play... at some stage, maybe F5.
F5, lock up the king side.
Lock up the king side a little bit, and then just say, right, I've got a space advantage on the queen side, so I can maybe use that to my favour or what have you. So,
okay, we'll see what happens.
Still quite a kind of deep strategic game. So,
until
white goes... H4 is too much, probably.
Yeah, well, white's played H4 instead.
Oh wow! So he's going to go for H5.
Well, everyone loves a Harry attack, right? Who gets there first? Well, that is interesting, isn't it? You stick your king on f2 and you start moving the pawns in front of your king.
Yeah, so he's going to play h5 if he gets a chance, I would guess.
Wow, you'll never guess what he played.
h5?
No, he castled.
Ah, wow.
He's
okay.
like, I don't care.
I mean, you can sort of understand it. He's casting onto the file where the king is.
Yeah, the rook's lined up with the king. Yep, I definitely like that.
So he would then definitely be thinking about playing f5 if he gets a chance.
Would he be playing f5 or f6? Would he give himself the option to open the f-file?
Well, f6 loses. I see what you mean. Yes, no, f6 he would definitely be playing. I thought the bishop might come to h3 to discourage it.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, but then I guess the bishop on c8 is not so bad then, is it? You can just move your knight to b6 or something, or should we not be moving knights away from the position?
Yes.
Is that too risky?
I personally quite like Black's position.
Yeah. I mean, if nothing else, you can see why this game is the one that Hal may have had a look at and thought, "Oh, there might be something going on there."
Yeah.
So c3 played.
I want to see what's happening.
Yeah,
Is
no,
still
yeah.
This game?
Yeah, we're on 21 moves past where we first started looking at this, so it's definitely a battle. This one's not a short draw like the other two. Oh, the other three. Mickey Adams drew just as quick.
This is the game that decides the match, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much will. So let's motor on, because it'd be nice if we can keep this game running and then come back to it a little bit later. So white played c3 and black's gone, well, I didn't play b5 for no reason. So I guess he's just trying to undermine that massive pawn chain.
Yeah.
He's trying to take the e5 b2 pawn chain down, I guess. And then I guess the white king will really feel the heat, because there'll be a lot of pressure coming from the queen side diagonally. Is that would you go with
diagonally and maybe via the rook if it can get involved via b8 or something like that.
Yeah, maybe yeah, exactly. So definitely queen side weirdly attacking on the queen side to come through to the king side.
Yeah.
So let's see how white reacts. Just queen c2, okay, lining up the h7 pawn at some point, putting a bit more defense on c3. Maybe playing f5. It seems so risky to play f5, but I guess there's not many black pieces over there.
I suppose. I think it's unlikely he's going to play f5.
Yeah, is it too much? Do you think that's just too many pawn moves in front of the king? Otherwise, why is he playing queen c2? What's the idea? Is he just going to play knight g5 and checkmate black on h7?
That looks like a pretty good idea, actually.
Because yeah, if you take it, you open up the rook, right? It's not the worst idea.
If you play g6, then you're opening up pawn h5 and
give yourself a hook. Is that the technical term? You give yourself a hook to attack on?
You give yourself a hook. Exactly right. You give yourself a hook. So I imagine that queen c2 now has a direct threat of knight g5. In fact,
what, straight away?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
so black might play something like rook somewhere.
Well,
what did he play?
He took on c first. I guess you can do that because is it that immediate? Can you? Oh, let's play knight g5 now. Let's see what happens.
So you're taking on c3. You're playing knight g5.
Yeah.
I'm going to play now g6.
G6. Stop the mate. Just so you guys know that I was joking, but it's actually a real threat on h7. So g6. Yeah. And in
now we're going to have to take back on c3.
Can we ignore that for one more move? Is that devastating if we ignore it and play h5 instead?
I think maybe then I can take on g5.
G5. Oh, really? Is that just our attack falling apart after that?
Just to try and get rid of that really dangerous knight. And then if you ever take on g6, I'll take that with my f pawn.
Oh yeah, with check as well.
And you might actually, firstly, you're going to be in check.
Yeah, this is yeah. This looks fine for black. I haven't even got that far yet, because even here you could you take the b pawn now in this position? Do you really? Yeah, you're right. You don't care about h to hg at all. You just take the b pawn in this position, right?
Yeah.
This is just good for black.
Yeah.
Lots of pressure on d4, and that king is way open on the queen side. Okay, so cool. So that's probably not going to happen.
I want to see what the actual position is right now. Can we skip?
You want to jump all past all the fun?
I want to jump past all the fun. I want to see what's going on right now.
Outrageous. You just can't hold yourself in, can you? All right, we'll do it. Oh no.
Oh no, is he doing badly?
Well, no, not so much, but you'd imagine there to be some sort of kingside attack from black, but I don't know. Got a queen on A8. That's interesting. What's
Come
he
on,
doing
let's
there?
have a look. I want to have a look.
It's coming, mate. It's coming. Can't believe we jumped to this. I feel disappointed already. I don't know. This is looking. What is going on here? We've got a bad light dark square bishop.
Only reason I want to jump just because there's so many, there's so many interesting games going on. Yes, England, France, and we kind of concentrate on that.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm with you, but at the same time, I'd love to. This one we should have started with, and we could have spent some proper
Yes,
time.
absolutely. Yeah, this one we should have started with, probably true.
Yeah, but it's too late.
So it's too late now, but hey ho.
Yeah, well, we can move on. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's stop and let's just ask. So you start. You're looking at this position fresh
Yeah.
for the first time. Tell me your thoughts
Oh, right. My thoughts.
when you look at the position.
Yeah, my thoughts are okay. I'm black, and I'm just about to lose on time because I've only got 10 seconds to go. So I don't get long to think about this position. But I'm guessing Luke had a bit longer, right?
Without the time, let's forget. Let's imagine time.
I've known I've got a pass E pawn, which is good. I'm thinking my king looks kind of safe as long as I don't lose that past E pawn. Though I am worried about there being a pawn on H5 and maybe a queen coming into G6 at some point. From White's point of view, what I don't actually... Okay, and White's attacking my E pawn as well, my E6 pawn. So I'm guessing... Well, my very first candidate move is to save that pawn. Oh, but can I? Because then there's queen check.
Did you do a material evaluation? Or you
not initially, no. I normally save that for like the last thing. I guess that should be my first thing, right?
I would say so. Probably it's a useful thing to do just to start with, just so you kind of get slightly more of a handle on the position.
Gotcha. So it's level material then.
Yeah, so it's level material, and you're quite right. Your opponent's threatening to take on E6.
Yeah, I'm worried about this pawn.
Black has double isolated pawns.
And I tried to lose straight away, Adam, by playing Queen C6.
Wow. Yeah, no, that probably isn't. That's probably not the move.
It's not. So,
but Queen D5 might be a good move, right?
Yeah, Queen D5 century. Because I was a bit concerned about my Queen being on A8 anyway. That looks like a nice place to put a queen. And we're eyeing up the A pawn as well. I guess I'm a little bit concerned about my own A pawn if he plays something like Rook A3.
Rook A6, yeah?
Sorry, A6, yeah, sorry, I'm looking the wrong way. What happens after that? How am I saving that pawn? Do we just push it? Just push it to A3? It's probably okay, isn't it?
That looks like a very sensible move to push it to A3, yeah.
So maybe that's not something to worry about, so I'll stop looking at that. Let's go back to after Queen D5. And I guess the big key is, is there any way I can push my E pawn? Because it looks pretty blockaded.
Okay, I'll tell you what I think. Only just simply, and that maybe it's useful to as a starting point for evaluation.
Yes,
of
please.
a completely fresh position.
Yep.
As I look at it, so I would always start by doing a material as I say, calculation. So yeah, it's equal. Black to move. Black's position is immediately threatened by rook takes E6. White king on G4, is that well placed or badly placed? Not such an easy question to answer, I would say.
Yep, agree.
Probably well placed. Definitely for an, if the queens came off, for example, then White would be.
It's actually weirdly supporting an F pawn push at some point, maybe if you need it. It's not doing nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. I was wondering, for example. To me, on the surface, this looks like White's doing quite well.
Yeah, I feel he's got more moves. I feel a bit hemmed in as Black, seeing it from the Black side.
So Queen D5 was played?
Yeah, no, you have to hold on to that pawn. Oh no, hang on. It's playing my move. That's definitely not what happened. It's not Queen C6.
It looks like a good move though, right?
Why is it playing Rook C6? Sorry, I don't understand that. It shouldn't be doing that. Chess 24 confuses me all the time. If you go back to a position, it's supposed to. Oh, it's my fault because I didn't go back far enough. Right, here we go. It was me. I can't blame Chess 24. It's just my own incompetence. So he did play Queen D5 and White played Rook B5. Attack and said Queen. Does the Queen have to keep defending that E pawn, doesn't it? The Queen is not free.
The Queen has to keep defending the pawn, yeah.
Because it's going to go with check and it's game over if it does.
And actually, they repeated.
No way. Oh no, he didn't play that way. He keeps trying to make me play Rook C6. I don't know why it's doing that. It's so silly.
So Rook B5, Queen C6, Rook B5, Queen D5.
I think it is a draw.
Is a draw. So I guess that maybe White can't. I think White's a bit better personally, but maybe there's not too much.
Do you know what? Weirdly, Rook C6 is on the board, but it can't have been played, and it wasn't.
No,
my
so
analysis.
Queen D5, Rook B5, Queen C6, Rook B6 was played.
Rook B6. So yes, because for some known reason, I think there's a draw in that position, but there's an extra move in the Chess 24, which is Rook C6, which obviously loses. So I don't understand why that's there. They must have agreed a draw before, and someone just moved the Rook afterwards before they put the kings in the center of the board. Troll move.
Something like that. Probably.
Oh, that's so disappointing, Adam.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I think probably England aren't too disappointed with the draw.
Yeah, okay, but then why did Howe take a draw so quickly if it wasn't a case of, I think we're doing really well on board too?
Yeah, that does seem to me to be a bit strange. You're right.
I don't get Howe's position. I mean, like Michael Adams' position. I'm just having a quick look at the final position.
That was a real drawn position, wasn't it? That
exactly.
was a rook endgame, which you can kind of. He was putting a bit of pressure on Black for a while, but it was basically a draw.
Yeah, I mean, the point being, he played it through to the draw, right? While David Howe certainly did not.
No.
I'm a little bit disappointed.
We don't know how accurate the timings are or anything like that. But just from David, David, as I say, he's so willing to play positions with so little time, and it looks like he had a fairly, maybe a slight advantage, would we say?
Yeah, I mean, the computer wasn't saying anything more than like 0.3 or something like that, which is just a normal edge for White, right? Because that's how you play chess. You try to equalize as Black, and then you try to win as Black, if that's what you want, if your position lets you. So it's a bit weird for White to just go, oh no, we'll just take the draw. It was only what, 15 moves, if that? It wasn't long.
So again, look, you can see Mamajaro.
He won again. This guy he's a titan.
He's a monster. He's a monster.
Look at that. 3 wins all against 2700s. Do you know what? I think the key is here is be below 2700 and he'll give you a draw. Because that's what Michael Adams, Leveronian and David Navarro's mistake was being too high rated.
Too good. Yeah. Too good.
And Mamadev said no, I'm sorry, mate. I'm gonna have to beat you.
So I tell you what, let's just have a look and just have a little bit. So it looks like Azerbaijan are going to win again because Naidic is winning on board 3.
Yes, it looks like yeah, that's very true. And yeah, so the only person who's having
and you would expect them to win, actually, to be honest, considering Czech Republic have always been a very, very good team.
I thought they overperformed. I mean, when they beat Russia,
they always overperform. Like Navarra is always a really Lasnichko on board 2 is always an amazingly good team player.
Yeah, he beat Yang Yugi. That's not Yangi. Sorry, that's Yang Yu. I'll get there in a minute. That's a good win. That's a very good win.
He lost in the second round, but apart from that, he's had some really good results.
Yep.
So you'd expect them to win. So I suppose then, in some ways, the surprise of the tournament so far has been Poland, because they're
winning again. They're beating Ukraine.
So Duda, he's not had the best tournament so far, but he beat Ivanchuk. And then they've had these guys down at the bottom who've all got amazing scores. So
they're all like +3, aren't they? It's crazy.
Yeah, so they've got Dragoon, who is currently he's won all his games.
I'll tell you what, we're having a look at that game because he's playing Korobov, who's one of my favourite players. I really like
And
Korobov.
Korobov has won all his games as well.
No, he's immense. I don't know why he's not like 2750. I don't know. Does he? Because he goes on immense runs of winning like 7 or 8 in a row.
Yeah, you're right. He completely just go on a sequence, and they've also got Ponomariov, who's not playing today. But then Poland have got this guy Tomczak, who I actually once played Tomczak. It was his first Olympiad this time, and he beat Anand.
No way.
No, he didn't beat Anand. Sorry, he beat Kramnik.
Oh yeah, no, that's
He beat Kramnik.
Kramnik let him get
Poland beat
mated.
Russia.
What? But someone said that was really honourable. I mean, Sokolov. I was watching the commentary, and they said it was very honourable of Kramnik to allow himself to get checkmated. Why is that honourable? Why is just not resigning, saying I see that I'm getting mated, honourable?
I don't know.
I don't know what he was going on about, to be honest. He seemed all like, "Oh, that's great from Kramnik. Oh, that's a gentleman's way of playing chess." And I'm like, "Is it?" I think resigning when you're lost is a gentleman's way of playing chess and saying, "Come on, let's get down the pub."
I suppose if you feel that your opponent's played really well and is just, then in some ways I can sort of see it in that, and I understand how it's much better for people, for kind of amateurs and stuff, to and for the general public, because what we're trying to do obviously is we're trying to get chess a bit more in the mainstream. Everybody who's a fan of chess is and would love to see it on TV, what have you. And the only real way to do that is to explain some of the slight kind of peculiarities of the game. So to play drawn positions to a draw is a good way.
Yeah, they're trying that, aren't they? They're saying that you can't offer a draw before.
They're trying to do that, and to play checkmates to a checkmate, I think is probably quite a good way as well. So I think the more you can do to make it a bit more friendly for kind of the layman, if you like. That's why poker's much more popular than chess.
Oh, and the money in poker, come on, that's a big thing as well. I mean, people want to see people play for
Of course, the money
is
is a big thing as well. But actually, if you come down to it, chess is a much better and more interesting game than poker.
Oh, I agree. I'm not disputing that.
I mean, by a million miles. So it's just about the fact, there's a reason why it's much simpler to edit and to watch on TV, because it's much. It's much quicker. There's always a direct result. One side wins, one side loses. Where, unfortunately, in chess there's loads of draws. But that's just what chess is about. Right?
Well, I understand if like someone's played a brilliancy against you and it's like mate in 6 or something like that, and it's really pretty, that you definitely let that go through, and I get that. That was not exactly a complicated mate against Kramnik. It really wasn't. So that's why I didn't see the necessity for it. Like you'd have to show a brilliancy, and say, look, and it ended this way. That's fair. And I'd handshake Kramnik and say that was really good of you to show that. But it was just such a basic mate. I just didn't get it. I didn't feel that. It was what was it? What was the opening? It was a Scotch, and he played H4, which apparently is unusual. He's trying to harry attack really early against Kramnik, which you can high five that in many respects for trying to hack Kramnik to death, but that's not why he won the game. And even then, it didn't feel like he'd done anything amazing. It was only as if like Kramnik didn't play that well in the game to lose it. So I just didn't get it. I didn't understand why he had to have mate on the board, unless Kramnik's a masochist and thinks a 2600 GM is going to miss a mate in 2. I don't know.
So what's happening in this Korobov Dragoon?
I'll stop moaning about Kramnik. Let's go. So we've got C4, E6, Knight C3, Bishop B4 straight away. That's interesting. Okay, I guess this is the way to play. So Botvinnik English.
So sorry, let me just refresh. So it's C4, E5, Knight C3, Bishop.
And he's played E4. Is it a Botvinnik English, or is this
E6? Else? So yes, they would call it a Botvinnik, I suppose, English. Normally the bishop would be on G2 by now, and the pawn might. I grew up playing this type of thing with black with the bishop on G7. This looks already a little bit strange to me, but
yes. It's unusual, isn't it? Is black just going to take? Yeah, okay. So he's just said, all right, I'll give up my dark square bishop. I don't want that. you know, I'm a GM, don't want bishop pair. I will, and Korobov's like, okay, so you're going to give me a really strong pawn center as well? It's getting everything.
Well, he's got to take it now.
Yeah. I mean, he's taken. Yeah, I guess he has to because the knight on e7 is blocking the retreat square, right? And it's just the target otherwise.
Yeah.
But surely just d4 here. No, knight f3 first. Okay, so I'm stopping at white playing d4. How is this bad for white? What was black hoping here? Swapping off that dark square bishop.
Well, he's basically compromising white's pawn structure. So there are certain, for example, it's a little bit like a Nimzo Indian where...
So he's trying to get his knight to a6 or something like that.
Well, normally you'd get the knight to a5, not
a5, sorry, my bad. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so knight on a5, bishop on a6.
Yeah, that's it. And then you attack the c
pawn. And so here you might play, for example, after pawn to d4, you would have probably normally eventually play pawn to c5 to avoid white doing that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then, yeah, it's a quite positional way to play. It's quite sensible, actually.
Oh, no, I haven't picked a sensible game, have I? Oh, no. I was hoping with Korobov on board, then it wouldn't be. So he's played bishop b7 instead, so I guess he can change his plan later, but he's attacking the e-pawn or something. There's no knight on c3 defending it. Do we play d5? I guess d5 plays into black's plan as well, because then you've got a lot of holes in white's position. So is bishop d3 the defense here to hold the pawn?
Looks like a good move.
Yep. And then queen d7. Okay. Again, I don't understand that move. Would you not maybe want that square for your knight? Maybe?
Probably here. I suppose you could do, but the knight's going to be quite happy on c6.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's the original plan, isn't it? It makes sense to have a knight on a5, which is weird, really, because I guess you've taught a lot.
It's weird to leave it over that side of the board, but black is basically saying, you know what, I haven't got weaknesses. My position's really solid.
Yeah.
You've got a pawn weakness, so eventually I'm going to pressurise it. Knight on a5, pawn on c5.
How would you try to explain that to I mean, because you teach in a school, don't you, Adam? I mean,
I do, yeah.
And you probably start off by teaching people that putting your knights on the side of the board isn't a good idea.
Yeah.
So at what point do you tell them the opposite? Where do you feel like, oh, by the way, that rule I've been telling you, you know, since you've started playing chess, but actually a knight on a5 here is really good.
Well, firstly, if the knight is on the side of the board and your opponent's pawns can attack it, then that's quite a big difference. So here already we can see that the knight on a5 can't be attacked.
No.
So in some ways it's a sort of semi-outpost, right?
A half outpost.
Yeah, exactly. Not necessarily a good one, but just let's say it can't be hassled, and it can't be hassled by a bishop on d2 either because of the pawn structure.
Yeah.
So once that's sorted out, then we got to think about, well, if the knight's on a5, is it out of the game, and can your opponent use that opportunity and take the time and do something in exchange for that? And because there's no real weaknesses, because the centre isn't that open or what have you, then it's not completely. Then you probably, then you would say, right, yeah, probably is time to do that.
Yep. And
it's not an easy thing to explain at all, but
no, that's why I was saying it. I thought I'd put you on the spot, but no, it does. I think, to be honest, your very first point you made about the fact that it is actually an outpost, because you would definitely explain outpost to a beginner, right? So that would fall in that category straight away, and you'd also explain that double pawns are weak in certain aspects because they can't be defended by any other pawns.
Yeah,
not usually anyway. And so in that case, the c pawn or the c4 square in particular is a bit weak.
And it's easy. A weakness is only a weakness, right? If it can be attacked.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not a weakness.
Yeah.
So you have to make a decision about a square can be attacked enough times. For example, the pawn on c3. If I asked somebody, is the pawn on c3? It's a weak pawn because it's not defended. But actually, can you attack it? No, you can't.
So it's not a weakness.
So it's not really a weakness.
Yeah.
Whereas the pawn on c4 can be attacked. It can be attacked by a bishop on a6, a queen on c6, a knight on a5. So that's sometimes something that I think people get wrong a little bit.
Might be a good opening to suggest to beginners Nimzo Indian against d4 anyway, just because it does have that kind of plan. If if white
Yeah.
walks down the line where you double up your pawns, which a lot of people would play, I think, at sub 150 level, or even
Yeah.
more so. I mean, I'm sure Korobov's still gonna. I'm talking as if Korobov's not going to be able to defend the pawn. He's going to come up with something in the meantime, right?
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
So he's castled knight c6 as expected. A4. Okay, so he's gonna. Is he trying to get to A5? Is he just losing a pawn if that happens? What's A4 all about? Doesn't seem to stop the potential of knight A5.
I suppose the only thing maybe there is that if knight to A5 happens, he could put his bishop on A3.
Let's see if that happens.
And that would be slightly annoying if I could play bishop b4. So I sort of stopped in my tracks there because after bishop to a3, I thought maybe black plays c5.
He didn't, but he played the first two moves. He's gone for knight g6 instead. Because the bishop's no longer defending f4, so I'm guessing he's eyeing that square up. But you're right, maybe he's going to play bishop... no, he didn't. He didn't play bishop b5. He played... Okay, boy, but he played a logical move. He played g3, defending the f4 square. No one wants a knight sitting on f4, or for black, a knight on f5. That's just...
I'm getting really distracted because good news for you. Europe are going to win the right.
That is good news. I'm happy with that. But they had a big lead anyway. It would have been quite an upset, wouldn't it, to suddenly lose so many singles games? And I'd argue Europe are probably better as singles as well, aren't they? I don't know what the top 10's looking like at the moment, but I'm pretty sure there's a load of Europeans in there.
No, well, actually, in the top 20 in the world, I think about 12 or 13 of them are American.
All right, well, I'll sit back on my little chair here and say whoops. But the number one, is it Justin Rose? Did I get that right, or is that?
He was number one. He's not actually number one anymore. He won a tournament last week. He won $10 million.
Oh my word!
Just for winning.
Just for having a piece of metal in your hand and smacking a little ball into a little hole.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
That's not too bad, is it?
I think I again chose the wrong game to try and get good at.
Well, you still got time. Maybe tomorrow,
Just go and pick up a golf club, yeah?
Yeah, why not? I'm
going to do it and I'm going to report back. So now he's played c5, which is what you were kind of expecting, right?
Yeah.
He's nailing down the c pawn as the c4 pawn as a weakness for now. And yeah, I guess it makes a bit of a mockery of bishop a3, doesn't it? Or is it not that bad?
I agree. No, I think it does make it look a little bit strange for sure.
Because what I was wondering is, instead of playing g3, that was your time to play bishop b4 if you're going to play it, right? It looks all right. I quite like this for white. I liked your idea.
Yeah, it does seem a bit strange.
Yeah, he didn't need... I mean, you can't just fear knight f4 just because it's there, right? I mean, it's just... Okay. Good for you. You got your knight to f4. There's no mating attack, is there?
So black played c5.
Oh, right, in the main line. Yeah, no, I've gone on the sideline as if we played... I mean, the point he played g3 was because he was potentially worrying about knight f4, but I don't think this position that's on the board now is that bad, is it? It's all right for white.
I'm just a little bit behind you. One second,
right,
let me catch up.
Don't worry, we'll get there.
No, not at all. No, and then you'd probably take on a5, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're going to give back some double pawns. I mean, okay. Is it to take the light square bishop? Is this such a bad thing? Oh, no, because he's not yet. So now you can save your bishop. I mean, if you want. But yeah, what's so bad about this? This looks all right. Both battled down the B file. I don't know. Mate, it's a different game. It didn't happen, but I quite liked your idea. I mean, if you're going to play your bishop to a3, because after c5, why is your bishop on a3?
Yeah, exactly. Unless there's some direct problem, that the pawn can come to e5 and break up that pawn structure, which might be possible.
Let's see what white plays. So c5. Oh, okay. That's a kind of Kovarov move, but I think it's a general move about on knights on g6 that you play h4 against it. Is that something you've seen often?
Sorry, what's that?
There's a knight. Well, so basically, c5 was answered by h4. Sorry, it's trying to attack the knight on g6.
So trying to attack that knight. Yeah, that looks pretty sensible, because maybe after pawn h5, which looks like a natural response, that gives white maybe a good square for his knight on g5.
He tried f6, but I agree. I agree with what you're saying.
and it gives him maybe a chance at some stage to play pawn e5 to try and open up an attack against that knight. Although it does look a bit early, to be honest. I think I would be probably playing h5 here as black.
Yeah. I've just put that on the board. Are you not worried at any point of something like e5 and taking the knight? Is that not something
I would do, but then at the same time, you also have to worry about that opening that diagonal up for my bishop.
That's very true. That is a very nice light square bishop. For
I put my queen on that diagonal, and then you might have some serious problems.
Then I might be regretting taking that knight, eh? Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. But he didn't. He played f6 instead.
Okay.
So f6 does what exactly? That's a weird move, isn't it? What does f6 do?
Maybe he's going to make a great. As I tell it to my students, maybe he's going to make a great wall of China.
Well, what, do you have all your pawns on the sixth rank or something? What's that one about?
Mate, you have all your pawns on the same colour in a kind of. So I thought he might have tried to play for e5, not h5.
Well, look,
So-
yeah, okay, yeah.
So pawn on f6 and a pawn on e5, and then he's made a great wall of China.
Yeah, and you'd argue that he doesn't have a dark square bishop, so sticking all your pawns on dark squares isn't the worst thing to do.
Yeah.
I guess you don't have any. I mean, you've got to also look at it as, I guess, Dragon is like 100 odd points lower rated. Is that ever going to come into this? And he's going to think, well, if I can draw against Korobov, I'm going to be a happy man.
I don't think these youngsters think about this type of thing.
I love that. I'm really happy that you think that's the case, and I hope it is the case, because at my level we'd be like, say like I'm 150 ECF and I play against a 180 or a 190, and I've got okay results against them. But if I get a draw and I've made it into a draw, I actually get a stupid bit of elation that I managed to do it. I guess that's the wrong thinking. I should be thinking I'll just win the game.
Yeah. I don't know exactly, but I think probably for a 25, 60 going on, he looks like quite a young guy. I don't know much about Dragon himself, but he's obviously going places, or he wants to be going places.
Well, Poland in general, they've actually got a really good sponsor now. They've got their national lottery was sponsoring them.
Have they?
Yeah, so they've actually got some proper money behind them.
They've always had quite a lot of money behind them, Poland.
Oh, right, fair enough. Now they've got even more.
Yeah. So I seem to remember that Poland, they had maybe some state funding or something like that.
Yeah, makes sense. We need to get that for our UK team, basically.
That's exactly what we need.
Just need some money, and then
we can get on the team. Maybe we can get on the team.
Well, he followed through, which is nice. I'm glad he played h5, because, what's the point of playing h4 unless you're going to kick that knight, eh? And now, I guess an interesting situation here. I actually quite like this position for black. Would you be tempted to play g6 at any point, trying to open the position? Or h6 and g6? And castle queenside? Would that be madness?
No, not at all. Casting queenside actually seems like a really smart thing to do.
Because, if anything, White's, like, doing a little bit of a red rag, isn't he?
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it a lot. Because, if I could somehow break you on the queen side, then I could understand the kind of...
There's no easy move for is there at all? Because even if
you don't have a B pawn anymore.
No.
So, and that knight on A5, as we're looking at it, is actually doing a beautiful job.
Doing a great job, because there's no A5 push. Yeah.
My next move would be castle's queenside if I could get it in.
So let's see what White plays, because I mean that. But what Adam was saying about break you, he wasn't talking about Ivan Drago against Apollo Creed. What he was saying there is absolutely no pawn breaks for White to open a position other than D takes C. That's the only one. I don't know if you ever want to do that.
No, you probably don't. It's just going to make it worse for you.
So this will be interesting. It should be an interesting game. Fingers crossed. Okay, so he's gone for knight. So you know what I was saying about knights on the ring and explaining it to beginners. We've now got knight h4.
Okay.
Love it.
So he's trying to play f4.
Wow, really?
Yeah, almost certainly.
f4. All your pawns in front of your king. It doesn't matter. And as I say, black sort of wants these pawn moves because if we're talking about breaks, black's got chances to do so, right?
Yeah.
After castles
Yeah.
queenside.
I would castle queenside. Did he castle queenside?
He castled queenside.
Yay! Good move.
Awesome. So black's definitely not like breaking down or anything. If anything, I actually probably slightly
Prefer black, yeah.
Yeah.
It's this good. It looks like quite a good opening. Makes doubling the pawns, give up the bishop for the knight, and just those bishops don't look too hot, do they? Really?
Why doesn't everyone play like this as black? I mean, clearly this
because most people don't allow the pawns to be doubled.
No,
generally,
I'm only teasing, obviously, but it obviously refutes C4 in this. They just quit the English from now on. I hate playing against the English, Adam. I really do. So, maybe this is the way. Maybe this is an idea anyway.
Wait, does he win the game? Has he won the game yet?
No, I don't know. No, it hasn't finished. This is one which we can actually keep the tension for a little while. And it probably means something this game as well. Because I think Ukraine are 1-0 down. It's 1.5-1/2. So they probably want Korobov to win with white.
Yeah, wow.
So let's see how this goes. We'll go on a bit
win again. Poland are going to win again.
I think it could happen. That's a really big scalp as well. I mean,
their ball 3 is going to win.
Oh wow, could be a destruction then.
Yeah.
Well, white's probably sensibly or not sensibly. I'm not sure how I feel about this move. Play
He
D5.
shut it down. He shut down the bishop. You can sort of understand that.
Yeah, after what you were saying previously, yeah, definitely. That diagonal's way more dangerous for white than it is for black, so it makes sense. Now, would you take or would you push? Would you get your Great Wall, or would you?
I wouldn't need. I probably wouldn't be in any great rush to push it because I don't need to. So I'll be trying to look to maybe play G5 or G6.
Yeah, exactly. Start. I guess, can you ever play? Is it just too much for weakness to play H6 first, just so you're guaranteeing the pawn break? Because I guess.
No, you don't need. Can you not play G5?
Well, that's my point. So, oh yeah, of course, because you're attacking the knight, so you have to. No, you can just move the knight. The point being, that's what I'm trying to spit out here.
You wanted to try and play G6 and force him to take it,
exactly, right? Something like that, because at the moment G6 doesn't work because you just play H6, right?
Yeah, probably. Well, it doesn't look that safe, the pawn on H6. Could be rounded up.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So maybe that is an option then.
Yeah, I would say G6 is a pretty smart move.
So black goes for a safety move. King B8. Getting off the light square diagonal. Is that a thing? What's going on there? Why is he... Is he maybe bringing his bishop back to C8? To give it some life?
Yeah, seems unnecessary, personally, but...
Yeah, but, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of is maybe he's trying to play bishop C8 to come back along that diagonal, trying to get to maybe G4, or maybe H3. Is that...
I don't like it. I don't understand why I didn't play G6.
Is it just too slow, the bishop idea?
I reckon so. I reckon it's probably a little bit too slow.
All right, let's have a quick look at G6 then instead of King B8. So G6.
Now, firstly, maybe you don't have any threat behind G6, so I could leave it because my queen will come out to H5, which is probably a pretty good square for it.
Yeah, it's not a target on H5.
Well, you can't attack it with anything other than your queen.
On my rook, I can get my rook to G8 and into.
You can get your rook to G5. So, for example, if you went G6, I might go something like King H2. And then if you took on H5, I take with my queen, and you play rook G8, I might play F4. That stops your rook coming to G5.
I'm putting that on board. Don't know, I feel alright here. Got a nice open G file to attack down, haven't I? I just need to put my rook somewhere so I can double up.
I've got more space than you, though.
Alright. I'm not saying I've got everything.
So you're going to double. Maybe rook G7 then, and rook G8 might be nice.
Yeah, that seems good, because that way I'd keep the...
By the way, black has still always got this option at any stage, whenever he likes it, of going bishop A6.
Oh, he can still go back to plan 1.
Yeah, go back to plan 1. But why isn't he doing that even? Because doesn't that just tie some pieces down to C4?
Yeah, I'm putting that on board now. So we care about that pawn, I take it. So
I think we do care about that.
So we're going to have to play something like Queen E2?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
Black has everything, right?
Yeah, it feels like it. It'd be interesting to see if or how Korobov can drum something up here, because it does feel like Black's got more options at the moment. So let's have a look what happens. King, right, so d5, king, b8. Rook e1. Is he just trying to storm through the middle? How does that work? Is he really trying to play e5? Is that something? Why else would you put your rook on e1? Help me, Adam. Help me.
I'm just wondering if... Well, again, g6 lends itself, doesn't it?
Just seems like Black has all the options. I mean, okay, so you play rook e1. Is that because you're going to play f4, e5, or are you just straight going to try and play e5?
I don't think so. I think that just looks too weakening.
You're just letting your centre crumble, right? You just take on d. You take the d pawn straight away if you play e5, right? And unleash your light square bishop again.
I think so. I just look at what. So bishop a6 happened.
No, it didn't. That was me just playing around.
No, it did happen.
Oh, what? Next move?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Queen e2 is forced response.
Yep. And now we play.
And g6 did happen.
Yes.
Like
see, I'm a hacker.
Yeah, black is black. You know, we are a slave to the computer, but the computer likes black here, and I can completely understand that.
Yeah, no, we've been saying that.
Completely understand that.
We've been saying that for
what is actually White doing?
We've been saying it for quite a while, haven't we? Really.
I would guess that White's going to play pawn f4 and try and gain some space, but I don't know.
He responded with, "Well, that is really weird what he played."
Yeah, that doesn't seem to be very. I mean, he must just be thinking, right? Well, I'm just going to have to. So why put the rook on e1 if you're going to put it on b1?
Exactly my fault.
I mean,
why waste the time? You could have just put your rook there.
So basically, I would guess there that he didn't want to play it, but maybe he thought it was a necessity.
What, to get some sort of counterplay, or is he going to sack his rook on b5? What's the point?
Don't know.
It's weird, isn't it? I mean, even if you doubled up your rooks, rook b2, rook a, b1, are you sacking a rook on b6? I mean, yeah, I guess you might.
You're not. No, you're definitely not doing that.
Well, I don't get it.
So what happens after rook b1? So he's got rook b1.
Another.
Rook c8.
Yeah, he played rook c8. There's a couple of moves now I'm just completely bamboozled, Adam. I don't understand this jockeying for position. Was there ever a threat of bishop takes c5?
I suppose the only thing you could maybe think there was that black might be a little bit worried about the pawn coming to e5 at some stage, but that's not actually a direct threat at that moment.
No, is that prophylactic?
It might be the case that both sides don't have kind of the necessary firepower to make any sort of pawn breaks. Oh. Although we're kind of waxing lyrical about black's position a little bit here.
Yeah.
Actually, how's he gonna make any more pawn breaks after the pawn's on g6? He's either gonna take on h5,
yeah,
which is gonna probably just leave that pawn isolated there for a moment.
Yeah.
So White might play something like, for example, knight f3, knight d2, and then take on h5. And if black isn't going to do that, it looks the most sensible thing is to play g5. And if he plays g5, then he probably doesn't have any pawn breaks after that.
No, he doesn't.
So,
no, I agree.
And it might be that knight on h4 that we think looks quite silly might come to a really good square on e3 at some stage.
E3, yeah, interesting.
Which
you know
would
what?
be a
I was also
good
thinking,
square actually for it.
Is there no way? I guess is there any way we can get our knight to and it looks fairly quick to b3?
How do you want to do that then?
Just f3, d2, b3.
Ah, so sorry, white knight to b3.
Yeah. I don't know how good what it's doing if g5 ever happens.
I mean, that knight on a5 is probably the best piece, isn't it?
Weird,
at the moment,
it?
Really
very,
is.
Very weird. Good defender.
Yeah, no,
and
I think
good
you're
attacker.
right. I think it's a very smart idea to try and get rid of it, but
it just takes a bit of time. That's the problem.
So it might just be that the position is mutually quite balanced, and there's not so much going on for black.
Yeah, but I love these positions so much more, Adam. You know where a computer's just saying whatever level or slight edge or whatever. And unlike where it's just like a rook and 3 pawns versus a rook and 3 pawns, which is probably level. You know, it's level, but not in a straightforward sense.
No, no, not at all. Not at all.
So these positions are the ones where even if a computer says it's level, you don't say, oh, it's I offer a draw here. You still quite keen to play on both sides.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
So let's see what happens. Actually, I'm glad. Funny enough, I thought it was going to be pretty boring, but it's actually developed quite nicely. And this has got something to talk about. There are a couple of moves I won't, like you say, like putting your rook to e1 to b1, and maybe rook c8's prophylactic, but I don't know. Prophylactic, guys, I'm using a big word. Is just where you put a defense in place before it's attacked. Lots of grandmasters get to be grandmasters because they understand that. I don't understand it. I just know the word. Just want to make that clear. I'll probably overprotect the wrong piece completely and just get mated on the other side of the board. That would be my style. Okay, so he's tried to close it up. He's played h6. So
yeah, it's not a very good move.
Yeah, but is he not saying then that, if black really wanted, I don't know if he can do it at any point now, can he not play f5, g5 and just march those pawns down the board?
He sort of tried to do that in the game. He played
Are you
F5
jumping ahead, Adam? How dare you?
I'm just looking because I'm just amazed sort of at what happened. So yeah, let's move on a few more moves because we've got a lot to go through in this game.
Sure.
Probably after that we'll have to call it a day. But it's interesting just to see what happens in the game because White just basically says, right, you can have that pawn if you want it. You can have it for free.
Okay, right. So I didn't understand rook e8 for a start, but yeah, no.
I guess he wants to put his knight on g8 and take it.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so you were saying
without blocking his rook. That would be my guess.
Sure. So he takes in the center. Okay. I'm still liking black a lot. What's this? Bishop takes d3. Is that a good idea?
So he's exchanged. I don't really understand why black's done that because he's exchanged off and kind of loosened the position up a little bit.
Yeah, there's a few holes around the king now, isn't there? A little bit.
So bishop takes, bishop now is forced, queen takes.
And now he's played f5.
F5.
Which makes sense because that's what I wanted. I wanted f5.
Yeah, you want to try and attack that centre.
And you'd still argue that black's king is pretty safe, right? Even without the light square bishop.
Yeah, absolutely. I think black's king is still really safe.
So what's he going to play? Now the rook's gone back to e1. That rook's had a lot of exercise, Adam.
It hasn't. It doesn't really look like it's been particularly useful.
No, just sort of shuffling. F takes e. Looks like a good move.
Rook takes, I imagine.
Yeah, rook takes, so you can double up if you need to.
Knight to f5, I imagine.
Yep.
Pawn.
That knight is attacking the pawn, and also it's just a good knight on f5.
I guess maybe White's just arguing that knight on g2 might eventually jump into e6.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
maybe.
f4 into e6. Yep. I had a similar problem with Simon earlier on in the simul. He nailed down the d6 square, and I always had to watch out for a knight. It was quite nasty. Anyway, so he's double up rooks.
I'm going to nip the loop. Be back in 30 seconds. A minute or so.
No worries.
Thank you.
So, do you know what? I'm not thinking White's looking as bad as it was previously, funny enough. One, because I like the rooks being doubled up. They weren't doing a lot anyway, shuffling along the first file. And two, I like Adam's plan of knight f4 into e6 at some point. I'm not sure what it does when it gets there. It just covers a lot of squares, making it a little bit more awkward for black to move around. And I would start to say that this knight is starting to not look as great as it was before. Because, I mean, it doesn't have to move, but the point is, where does it move if it does? If it wants to join back into the game, where does the knight on a5 go? It's not obvious. I mean, funny enough, it can actually challenge a knight on e6, but it's not really the best place for a knight. If the knight ends up on d8, something's gone wrong. Because even then, say it does, then you've actually... That play right into White's hands, because he really wants to play a5 here. This is the kind of position where you try and lever open the king side. Which is why White's arguing, even if he loses this pawn, these two pawns are a very long way away from attacking these two pawns. But then again, with all the heavy pieces coming off, is black just going to be a pawn up? Is that what literally is going to happen here? Are we going to see some swaps in the centre? bring the other rook over, swap off another pair, and then how easy is it to hold on to this H pawn? And I guess your pawn up's over here where your king is, but which is usually a bad thing if queens are still on board, because it's quite hard to move your king and the pawns in front of your king when there's queens floating around, but I don't know. Where's an international master when you need one, eh? It's just an empty square that way. Just a picture of a pawn punching a king. No, to be fair, it's punched its head off. I mean, that's a violent pawn. I'm guessing that's a checkmate position. So I was just commenting on your artwork. So yeah, I mean, I was just having some generalizations about it all. Like, and I like your plan of bringing your knight into E6.
E6.
And I was thinking, what's this knight on A5 doing anymore? And I started to try to move it, but then where a really negative plan is to stick it on D8 to cover that square, you then open yourself to A5. So I didn't like it anymore. So
okay, yeah, it's not such an easy position. Like, he's transformed it, and it might not have worked out too well for white.
No, well, I think it looks a little bit better for white than it did previously. I don't know how good that pawn is on H6, because previously white's rooks were just along the first ranks. At least this way, it looks like he's getting a little bit active.
Yeah, even at the cost of a pawn, it might be worthwhile.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to worry about that C4 weakness anymore that we were talking about. So,
so what happened? So rookie won.
Yep, and then swaps off a pair of rooks. And then takes the pawn.
Right, okay.
So black's a pawn up. But you'd argue that
white's got control of their file, so maybe queen E2 or queen E3. So
queen E2 played, yeah. Yeah, you're right. I wonder why he didn't play queen E3.
Well, queen E3 allows knight F5 and you gain a tempo. So
that makes sense, yeah. So he went for E2. So he controls the E file, and that rook is getting to E7. That looks quite nice.
It does look quite nice, you're right.
So I think somehow white's sort of turntables. I mean, computer's still saying black has an edge here, but I'm starting to like white again. Because the edge is only because of the pawn, right?
Yeah.
And it's not +1. +1 means definite pawn up, doesn't it? So this is saying 0.5, so you've got half a pawn initiative for white here.
So we still got 20 moves to go.
Sorry, yeah, I'm going to hammer through them now. So knight
G8
played. I'm guessing he's just rerouting it back. Well, he's covering E7, isn't he?
He's covering E7. Smart plan.
And now the knight's coming in, as you previously spotted. Knight F4. Wow. And black's actually allowing that knight to come in. I'm starting to like white.
You probably can't do too much about it, though, to be fair.
Yeah, but actually white didn't choose to put it into E6. Chose H5 instead.
So pawn G5, knight H5, yeah?
Yeah. So where's he going with that knight?
Well, he's stopping the knight going to F6.
Yeah. I thought the knight was going to be...
Maybe if the knight had gone to E6, then the knight would counter by going to F6. And
attacking the D pawn as well,
kicking that rook, and then maybe taking the pawn on A4 if it was available. So.
Actually, yeah, that's a big threat, actually, knight F6, because, the D pawn's pretty weak in that position as well. I don't know if you ever want to play C4 here as white. I don't know, because then you're just constantly leaving that pawn for the knight to take at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Another knight on the rim. This would be a game that you can show your kids, Adam, about knights on the side of the board not being as bad as you think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could be a good game to show.
Anybody watching out there,
they're not always dim.
They're not always dim. Okay, so knight H5.
Queen
F5.
Yep.
Activate the queen.
And attack the D pawn.
And attack the D pawn, so pawn C4 looks natural.
So he has played pawn C4, interesting.
And then knight F6 to get the knight off a passive square.
So they're both swapped off. And now we've got a choice. Rook E6 or Rook E7?
Well, actually, yeah, I can understand why he did what he did, because he put his bishop back, just to...
Because you can't stop Rook E6 or E7 anyway, right?
The bishop might as well be better, right, on B2?
That makes a lot of sense, yeah. Gain time on the queen as well, yeah. I like that move a lot.
Queen F5.
Queen F5. So again, have we got the choice? Are we going to go to E7 or we just...
It looks like a sensible move to me to go to E7.
Wow, Korobov.
G4. So, it might be...
Why has he done that, Adam? Why? That's so unusual. It just seems so natural just to stick your rook on the 7th rank. I don't get it. What's so bad about that? and then you can move.
Well,
your rook.
immediately there's a tactical reason why he might have done it, which Queen B1 check, King G2, Knight takes C4.
Let's have a quick look at that. Queen B1 check. King G. Where are we putting the queen? Queen G2.
B1, King G2,
Yep.
and Knight takes C4.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's have a look at this.
But then Queen takes C4, Queen takes B2,
Oh, no,
Queen
that-
A6.
Adam, we're going to get into A6 and just mate him.
Well, you're not going to mate me because I'm going to go rook. Oh no, you are going to mate me.
Yeah, I'm
no,
mating you,
right,
my
are
friend.
gonna mate me.
Sorry, I've just made friends with you, but yeah, I will checkmate you. I don't care.
Yeah, no, you will checkmate me. So that doesn't work. You're right. Rook E7 looks really sensible. I suppose Black might just kill the fun and go Rook C7.
Okay, let's have a look. Rook C7. Are we swapping and checking? Is that just rubbish? Am I winning the D pawn at any point?
No. I thought maybe Queen D7.
I've got to be careful because I'm dropping my bishop on B2, aren't I? If I'm not vigilant.
Yeah, it does. You're right. I mean, it does look tempting. Maybe he's thinking he can play G4 and then go Rook E7.
Yeah, it might be just an in-between move. But what advantage did he get for playing G4? What was the...
Good question. Don't know.
Yeah, that's
Let's
a weird
see.
one, isn't it?
Did it happen? G4, Queen back, and then Rook E7?
No,
Queen
no,
D7.
and that would have been
Queen
natural as well. He played bishop. He's going for that knight. He wants to make the knight look bad. It's actually, I quite like the move. Bishop C3.
Bishop C3, but then that allows Queen takes pawn, which happens.
Gosh, he sacked another pawn. I didn't even see that. And now he's just played King G2. I guess he doesn't want any checks on back rank. Or on D1, I guess, at some point. Is that what he's worried about? Because that pawn on G4, it's a slight liability, isn't it? Well, it was when there was a king on G1.
Yeah, there's loads and loads of moves. I like...
All right, we'll speed through to the end then. Oh,
just only because it's just gonna. Otherwise, we're just not gonna get to the actual position and
No, that's fair. That's fair.
work out the result. But I liked your idea, to be honest, of that Rook 7 when you could do it. Like after he'd done G4, Queen D7, then Rook E7 would allow Queen takes pawn.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's weird, isn't it? I mean, both. Let's really go for it. Let's get, because for me this feels weird. Yeah, okay. So the A pawn's charged down the board, which is what I was worried about. I just don't know how far it's going to get because the king feels pretty open. That's the downside. It's what I was saying when you went for your quick break. Was that your pawn ups on the king side where your king is? So if you start pushing your pawn down the board, you might find your king doesn't have any defense.
yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, I suppose that pawn is that pawn could be the difference, couldn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, we're actually at the final position now. Well, they've both got 12 minutes left on the clock. And yes, if black wants to win, he queens that pawn. But the downside is that your king's completely naked.
Yeah, the king is really exposed, isn't it? To something like Queen CA or.
Yeah,
I think I prefer to be white here.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% a white player here. If someone said, which side would you like right now? I'll go white, please.
And it's a real shame because it looked like black had basically had a really beautiful position.
No, I'm actually a little bit disappointed for Dragon 2, actually. When we said we
Now,
like
could
black...
it make a difference in the game? It actually doesn't look like it's going to make a difference in the match.
Oh, is it going to be a win anyway?
Well, white's got... the only other game is white's got a queen versus a rook and some pawns. Maybe that might be a draw. But
The whole match a draw, you mean?
So the game on board 3, just go to it quickly.
Yeah, going there. Pyrion. Isn't he like world puzzle solving champion or something?
That's right, yeah. I
I know such random facts. I don't know why these things stay in my head. I must have read it somewhere. Okay, yeah, I've got the game. And, woo, queen versus rook.
So that's what I was saying. I'm not sure. I reckon probably black's all right here.
Yes, it's a fortress position. I've got to say, I'm
That sort of thing, right?
I'm terrible at fortresses, so this would be quite nice if it is. I'll be...
I reckon black must be probably okay here. He's going to put his king on G4, pawn on H4, maybe put his king back. I would guess that black's probably okay. I mean, the computer says white's winning, but...
Yeah, this is what I was just about to say. It's funny, isn't it? This is where computers don't always understand chess properly. Because
yes.
To us...
They're generally much better at it, but... than they used to be, but... So I suppose the question, if it was a draw, would be: can Dragoon hold on board 4 and for a great win, another great win for Poland? And
yeah, well, no, it would be a draw. If this is a draw, this Purion, I can't say his name. I'll call him Casper because I can't say his surname.
yeah,
If this is a draw and Dragon doesn't hold on, it's a draw, right? And if
yeah,
he does,
exactly. So basically, Poland have at least a, don't they?
they should do. They should do.
They should do, because they're not going to lose both these games. So it's then whether they can get one more win on what have you. But
All right, just for your last 5 minutes, then, Adam.
sure.
How would you, like, as a stronger player against a weaker player, as white in this position, how would you at least attempt to break this fortress? What would you try to make nervous for black here?
I suppose you just have to start trying to make black run out of moves a little bit. It's hard because that everything is defended.
Would you need black to try to win this to have a chance?
Maybe.
Is there any mileage in that H pawn getting to the end? Would you ever fear that, or would you always say no?
Yeah, you would definitely think about that to be the case. I think you'd probably be confident enough that your queen's going to be good enough to at least hold a draw here.
Right. Okay. Cool.
That would be my guess.
I mean, white's tried E5. I guess that was a pawn move he had. Is that just giving a pawn away? Has he seen something?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think there's any great mileage in that. So you'd probably have to work on something else, like bring your king across and try and get your in this type of position you probably have to get your king somehow just pushing the opponent's king back, but to me it just doesn't look realistic.
What's going on here? You can't do rook takes because queen check wins the G pawn, and that looks quite nice.
Well, why can't you take it with the pawn?
You just take with the pawn instead. Okay, let's just put that on the board. True. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's one of the horrible facts of chess, isn't it? That sometimes you can be
even if you lost one or even two of those pawns, it might be a draw. So I don't really see why black should be too worried.
And okay, our last question then for you, and we'll chalk this one down to a draw and a fortress. And it's a bit of a random one, but it's a technical question. So, they always say queen versus rook is really hard to win. Say there was no pawns and it was just a straight queen versus rook. Is it a forced win for the queen? I want to. It is, yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it's a forced win. It requires one little maneuver at the end. I suppose a little bit like bishop king requires a little bit of important knowledge about a maneuver with the bishop and the knight.
Because I've always wondered why people play on in those positions. Is it just because they're just not ready to resign yet?
Yeah, exactly. I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
It should be a win. It should be a win. Yeah.
All right, mate. Well, that was interesting and entertaining. Sorry we got dragged into a couple of games a bit longer than usual.
No, not at all. I think we just unfortunately we started with a couple of those English games, which not too much happened in, and it was
it was a bit disappointing, wasn't it? Had we started with the third game and had this game in there, not this one, the Dragon game, we could have probably gone to another exciting game, eh?
yeah, absolutely, and it was a little bit of a shame, I suppose, from an English point of view that David didn't
try a bit harder.
It's
easy for me to say.
Absolutely, and look at how amazingly he's done for the team. And
I mean, he's nearly got to 2,700, hasn't he? Just off the back of this.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm sure he's thinking about that.
Hopefully he'll get there very soon.
He will.
So it looks like Azerbaijan have won. Poland look like they're probably going to win. So Poland. I mean, it's hard to see anybody other than Azerbaijan Olympiad, right?
Yeah, they look like that. They're all on fire.
Playing.
Do they have to play? Have they played America already?
Azerbaijan? I don't think so. I think the only team that took some points off USA were. Who did the USA draw with? They drew with.
Was it Israel?
Yes, it was Israel. Yes, because Satovsky beat Shankland on the bottom board.
That was right. Because Satovsky's another player I love watching. Him and Korobov are probably my favourite.
He won another good game today, so he's obviously on really good form. But I can't see anybody other than Azerbaijan winning this. I suppose you'd say maybe if they eventually they'll come up against one of the really big players like China or USA.
Yeah. So USA
Or-
may still have a chance because they might be able to beat them, and that would.
Yeah, exactly. Like
yeah.
Russia didn't win today against India, which is a really tough match for them actually. That to be playing. So maybe there's still chances.
Well,
but,
India had the similar thing to Hal, to be honest. When they played the USA, Vidic took a draw, and he was in a level position, and the commentators were saying maybe he's got a chance to play for an advantage, and he just took a draw. You'd be furious.
Yeah, and Anand was obviously maybe in a bit of trouble as well. So
well, no, Anand lost, didn't he? He lost a nice game.
Anand lost, exactly right. Yeah, Anand lost.
And he would know that, Vidic, and he would know that he should probably play on against Nakamura. I know Nakamura's good, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that. But from a team point of view, no matter what your strength is, you'd be furious with someone taking a draw when they could still, hit out at some point. Because the match is lost whether you lose or not anyway, so why are you saving yourself when there's play in a position, taking a draw, when you can still play on for your team? I don't understand that. And your country as well. It's not like, it's just your club down the pub.
yeah, exactly.
I was shocked by that, I've got to say. So
well, let's see. I mean, maybe hopefully, maybe in the next week we could have a look at maybe in the evening or something. Have a look at one of the big matches or see how that goes. But,
that'd be awesome.
No, it was a lot of fun today. It was good fun, and you must be completely done in now.
I feel like a full-time professional chess commentator, mate. I'm not sure it'd be the life for me.
Maybe your new calling. Anyway, let's leave it there for today.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Adam. Thanks so much.
Let's chat soon.
Yeah, see you soon, mate. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
See ya. Oh, that was tough. Tough. Right, guys, so thanks again to Adam. Obviously, he's dropped off the call now. I'm not going to go on any longer because, yes, we had a Ginger GM simul earlier on today, and I'm knackered. I'm going to upload both this and that Ginger GM simul now. So if you do want to check out what happened earlier, you can. Hopefully, by the sounds of things, I'm going to get another session with Adam. That was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it too. And if so, then that will be uploaded or live at some point next week. We're going to pick a day, obviously. The Olympiad's still going to go on. It would be great, actually, if we could pick the day where we play USA play Azerbaijan. Because clearly that's going to be a massive match. Lots of pressure on that one. But for now, I'm gone. So thanks for tuning in. And I'll speak to you soon.